All right, and here we go. Oh my gosh. It took forever, but finally, we're here. happy, happy, happy Monday, everyone. How's it going, friends? How we doing? How am I coming in? Am I coming in okay? I'm, hey, we got Christine in the chat with Kelly and Wary Jerry. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Happy, happy, happy Monday, folks. Ah, I'm here, baby. I'm her. What is it? So I'm y'all seen the pictures and everything. Comrade Lady is here. Hello, hello, hello. It actually is a new angle, so thank you for noticing. Appreciate you. What is it? So I have a new setup. Um, it's been super awesome. The only problem is it's not quite done yet. In that it's in that nothing is working. In that nothing is working the way it's supposed to. Oh, thank you, Christine. It looks so good though. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. Where he says, "Look at these angles." Yas, sis. Yas, broski. Ha. You're welcome for noticing. Ah, yeah, of course, of course, of course. I see you. But anyway, happy, happy, happy Monday, folks. How is it going? Thank you for your patience. I appreciate you. Can see more of your face, so it's good. That's why I'm wearing the hat, so I can. When I don't want to be seen, I just do this. I just do this. I'm just like, mm-mm, mm-mm. Oh my God! Oh no! Oh, word? Where you go rip the hat off? Nah, nah, nah. Chill, 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 chill. 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 No cap. Yo, if you take the cap off, I'm still keeping the hood on because I haven't got my haircut yet. I see, she's getting the cheeseburger. She's being a good broski. Good looks. Yo, broski, you a real one. Are you going to In and Out? Yeah, I'm getting. I have the afro, the Asian fro. I can exchange the cheeseburgers for the hat. You know what, sis? For the uh for the hat, I will happily get. Oh, what? Oh, Boris, thanks for the follow. I appreciate it. With the bribery. Oh, bruh. Yo, y'all got me wildin'. Oh my goodness gracious. Oh my goodness. Wary big brain. That's the thing. Like, y'all, Wary is protein style double doubles. Yes. Oh my god, I'm so hungry. I didn't even realize how hungry I was until like I started streaming. I'm like, oh my gosh. I had a bag of combos and I aced it off. Um, but Wary. So yeah, for those of you who don't know, Wary is my twin sister. Wary is the more attractive, more intelligent, and more evil twin sister of mine. Yeah. So I have a twin sister. Yeah, Christine. So she's dope. She's dope though. So yeah, she's a cool person, and also I just found out your name was actually John. I don't know why people are Jay and John is like not. It's not that deep. It's not that far apart, bro. Christine, it's not that. It's not that. It's not that deep. And besides, like, the funny thing is like and where he says much more evil and 1,000% more petty. I feel like I'm too loud. Oh my gosh, yo, bruh. But but anyway, yeah, like so. I was no volume is great. Okay, great, great, great. Glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. So I'm still talking to all of you. You know what, Christine? If you're excited and you want to talk in caps locks, you talk in caps locks. You live your truth, girl. You live your truth. All right, that's what it's all about. Okay. Ah! I'm so excited, and I just can't find it. Ah! Ah! That's my excited dance. Ah! Like I throw the thumbs up. Ah! Cruise control. We used to call that cruise control back in the day. Word. Yo. Oh, that's a throwback. Damn, sis, that's a throwback. But yeah, what is up? What is up? Oh, um, I'm gonna start. My day was good. So I got the setup. Still working on setting everything up. Going from there. Vanessa! Nessa! Yo, with the follow. What up, homie? Yo, what's Gucci, baby? I don't know, yo. You know what's crazy? Like, there were people that I always assumed that I was following, but then I realized like I was only following them on like Twitter. So I think we follow each other on Twitter. Like, I always see you on there, so I'm like, oh, okay, dope. Yo. Nah. It is all love. It is all love, fam. Thank you for coming through. I appreciate you. How was your weekend? Yo, we doing mental health Mondays. So we just check in, we just chat, we just vibe. I also had some quick updates, just talking about some things. Yo, Vanessa, by the way, congrats on the new PC. Congrats on the new setup. I seen you been updating your Discord. I seen you been updating things. You've been grinding. I see you, and I respect it. I appreciate you. Much love, homie. Much love. Yo, by the way, we got some other content creators in here. Yeah. Oh, oh yeah. Gee. Yo, I am so excited, y'all. Listen, I need to show you something. Kelly, you're gonna love this. Kelly, you're gonna love what I'm about to show y'all. I think Christine's gonna appreciate this too. But like everyone, y'all, you especially gonna love what I'm about to show you. You ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Okay. All right. So. Okay. Okay. You're sitting up now. Oh my god. 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 I'm so excited. Ah, yeah. All right. So. I got a new water bottle. Look how big this thing is. This is 64 ounces of glory. Yo, I got this off of Amazon for like 18 bucks. So it's orange and blue. My two favorite colors because I'm a huge Knicks fan. And so, yas, lady. Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to take more bio breaks. But the goal is, there comes a point in every stream where I've like run out of water. Those are also Broncos colors. Okay, yes, I know they're Broncos colors. Okay, Miss Colorado. Okay, Denver. Okay. Well, guess what? New York Knickerbockers were established before the Denver Broncos in the Mile High City. Okay, Miss Boston. Oh my god, here we go, dehydrated already. So I've been working on it. So I have been working on this though, all right? Because I started here at 8 a.m. I just started the 8 a.m. line, all right? And we're already at like almost at 2 o'clock. So there's a straw in here, and it's like a sippy. Yeah, dude, this thing is so dope. I freaking love this thing. Yeah, I do drink more when there's a straw too. I drink more. Yo, this is clutch though, man. I'm a huge fan. It's funny because in the camera, I'm looking at the camera, and it actually looks darker than it really is. Because this is more like a lighter shade of orange and like a more like a turquoise blue. But it on camera it comes off more royal. So it's pretty dopes. Wait, I drink about 117 ounces water a day. Yo, Nessa? Wait, y'all call me the thirsty one. But the homie Nessa over here, 117 ounce. Yo, you a legend. Damn. Yo, you know why? Cause Nessa's on that vegan life. Nessa's on that good life. Nessa lives the best life. Yo, out down south. I sees you, homie. That's what's up. Oh my gosh. Why you drink? Almost at 2 o'clock. It's seven. Okay, okay. Kelly. Look, it's 7 p.m. Yes, it is 7 p.m. my time. But guess what? I just filled this up. Where he can tell you, I filled this up at 5:30 ish, maybe, kind of, sort of. All right. So I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Okay, so that's why I always say be right back during stream because I always have to pee. That's the only problem. But I literally don't buy any other beverages, so I only drink water. That's fair. That's fair. That's fair. That's fair. That's fair. But yeah, so that's why I only started drinking this like an hour and a half ago, and look, I'm already like almost halfway through. This is 64 ounces. I'm like at the 30-ounce mark. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's so healthy. Yeah, definitely. That's what's up. That's what's up. Nessa, you a real G. Nessa, you need to like. If I could, not you need to. You don't need to do a damn thing. Just keep being your awesome self. Alright, that's all you need to do. Alright, all you need to do is continue being you. If I may have a suggestion, right, is if you had like a health, like a health stream, maybe like once a week or like once a month, that'd be pretty dope because like I always feel like we always I always have questions when you talk about being vegan and when you talk about your diet and like what you eat and like um also like in Young's exercise stream you were mentioning like your workouts and like I think that'd be really dope. I think that'd be really dope. Saunders says to check Discord. Oh, you know why? Cause Sonder is a sexy motherfucker. And I'm the most unhealthy vegetarian. Alright. Yo, Sonder, I see you. I see you. So folks, we're gonna keep talking, but I just want to give you some quick updates while we're getting live here, while we're getting set up. I am going to be playing Minecraft today with Sonder. Sonder and I are gonna be vibing. I'm
That's
going.
so.
I'm gonna be. Yeah, we're just gonna
So,
be chilling and
Giannis.
hopefully be doing some cool things. You know what I'm saying? Get to. Hopefully, you don't get to kill my. I don't kill myself too many times in the server. But like I said, oh man, we start life on more of a snacking schedule. That's true. I mean, snacks are important. I like. Yo, I'd rather. Yo, here's the thing. Like these burgers that where you're bringing, like this is probably the first actual meal I've had today because I've been like snacking. And Wary and I have been snacking because like Wary and I have been ingesting a lot more liquids. The only time I drink water, the wait, hold on. We start life on a more of a snacking schedule. I talked about that. Okay, yeah, that's great. That's how I start my mornings. How do you start your mornings? Hold on, let me scroll back up. First thing I do in the morning is drink a whole glass bottle of water. Oh Jesus Christ! And Kelly said earlier, I aim for 64 ounces a day of just straight water. That's true. That's true. Where he says I got cheeseburgers, I know nothing else. That's fair, sis. Okay, I sees you. I sees you. Okay, yeah, because I know I skipped a couple of comments there. Okay, now I'm scrolling back down. We catching up. We catching up, baby. Oh my God. Oh my. I literally wake up in the middle of the night and drink water. Come on, yo, Nessa's life thirst, not thirst, just life thirst. You're thirsty for life, and I appreciate that. I appreciate that, yo. I drink a lot of water, but then I also drink a lot of coffee as well. And lately, in the past like 2 weeks, I've tried to cut back, and I've tried to like, step back and do more like tea. So I'm just trying to get ingested. Naya! Anak! Kumusta ka? Ano? Hello, hello! What is up? Yay! Sheesh! Oh man, about to make me a cup noodle vegan version though. Okay, time to buy a giant water bottle too. Baby tummies are tiny. Yeah, true, 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 true. That's fair. That's very fair, Kelly. Yeah, I mean, look, and it's on an as-needed basis, right? It's actually a little healthier. Well, everyone has a different metabolism, and there's like macros and activity, and there's so many things to come into it. Um, like it is what it is. I swear, I'm a thirsty bit. I'm a thirsty bit. Okay. I am waiting, guys, on. It's crazy because I have the monitor next to me, and I have the monitor next to me. Like, I have my new monitor next to me, but it's not on because I have no way. I don't have the right wire. I don't have the right cable to connect it to my docking station so I can use it. Because right now, my docking station, I have a docking station to connect my laptop to multiple monitors right now. And so the intent is that I'm supposed to be using my monitor with the actual, the two monitors here with the actual thing, right? With the laptop as a like a third backup monitor. But that's not the case right now. So when you see me like whip my head, like I'm trying to do a dance move, yeah, that I'm trying to do this. You know what? Here, let's do this. Permit. Let me permit the link first for you, Nessa. I got you, homie. Wait, what? Why didn't it work? You could put it in my Discord. Yeah, you could put it in the Discord, or you could shoot me a message in Discord. Here. Oh yeah, it's gonna block it. It's gonna block it. Yeah. Here, or join the Discord and then go from there. I tried to permit you, but I just switched to Nightbot, and Nightbot is not being nice to me right now. Oh my gosh, you! I was trying to catch up with y'all. I was trying to catch up with y'all. Okay, let me catch up with chat. Actually, I have a fear of being thirsty. If you ever catch me in person, you'll see me with a bottle. Aw, Christine and Naya saying hi. Yes! Here to tune in while I clean my room. Yes! Yo, get it, knock. Get it, get it, get it. There's this cool water bottle I bought. It's kind of expensive, but totally worth it. Yes, join the cleaning channel. You're in Levi. Oh, I want to see. Lights up and reminds you to drink. Ooh, and you track your water intake in an app. Yeah, please. Can you do jazz hands with that dance move? So, okay, got you. Yes. Come in. Ah! All right, so we were talking about being healthy. We're talking about being healthy. I'm just gonna like slide this over. You guys don't see anything. You guys don't see anything. Okay. Ahem. Ahem. Um. Y'all don't see nothing. Y'all don't see nothing. Chat. Shh. Shh. So anyway, I ordered a salad. Thanks for the salad, sis. Thanks for the salad and the the quinoa. Yeah, quinoa. And the kale. The kale. All right, you dropped in discordo. Yes. Yes. Okay, so Saunders, I have not forgotten about you, by the way. Oh yeah. Ooh, thank you. Yo, Larry Jerry's hooking it up, yo. The throat coat. So this is actually the organic throat coat. This is the tea I drink. Like yo, this is the truth right here. So just the fact that they have the cough drops as well. Oh shit, this is dope. Ooh, with the eucalyptus. Yo, this is so clutch. So clutch. Raider, I see you lurking. I see you lurking, baby. Sheesh. god, this is so cool. This is so cool. And then here, I'm gonna post this link in the chat. So this is the link that she sent. And then we're going to switch to real quick. I'm gonna switch to screen capture. Ooh, hydrate spark steel water bottle. Tracks. Ooh, that's suave. It is kind of expensive, but I like it. I like it, dude. That's actually really cool. And Naya, thank you for lurking as well. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. All right, Kelly. Be right back. Be right back for real, for real. All right, Christine. Have a great. Oh, yo, Christine, you're saying have a great stream to Raider. Oh, yeah, because Raider is streaming right now. Yo, Raider Atlas is the homie, yo. He's such a cool guy. You can eat burgers and still be healthy. Shut that up. But yo, kale and spinach salad. Yo. Yeah, it's a game changer. That shit's a game changer. No cap. Shit's a game changer, y'all. I'm with it. Alright, we are going to... Okay. Yeah, that water bottle is so dope. And, here. I wanted to do this earlier, but I got so caught up while talking to y'all, man. I just love hanging out with y'all. I appreciate you. Thank you again for hanging out with me. Yo, we just vibing. It's been a rough day for you, girl. Yo, holla at me. What's up? What's up? If you feel free to share whatever you want to share, Nessa. Whatever you want to share, homie. It's that kind of day. I've been talking about my day, and you know we've been vibing, talking about the thing. But you know, some real life is that we don't. That's not the case, right? That's not always the case, and it's okay. That's not always the case. Sonder. Feel free to share. In the meantime, while I'm waiting on you, again, everyone, friends, comrades, thank you. Welcome for coming through, checking in on the stream. My name is JR, the PT Gamer. Appreciate you vibing. It is Mental Health Monday. We're about to go play some Minecraft with my man Sonder GA. I just shouted him out in the chat, but feel free to check him out again and go from there. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the vibe. Alright, so mini rant. I graduated from college and been applying for jobs nonstop. Literally can't get a job because of little or no experience. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Ho, ho, ho. Yo, we about to get in it. We about to get in it. We about to get in it. How am I supposed to get experience if you won't give me any? Make it make sense. Alright? You want a fresh college graduate with 6 years of experience, 4 years of leadership experience, to be able to work for minimum wage. The fuck out of here. That's bullshit. But that's the thing, right? Because they want the experience. Employers want the experience in order to justify hiring you, right? But here's the thing. 9 times out of 10, your college experience, right? Like, because here's my problem. My 4 years experience is my bachelor's degree. That's exactly what it should be. Like, that's exactly what it should be. Because as a requisite 4-year experience, right? And again, I'm not knocking people who did not, because I never got my 4-year. I got my 2-year, and I want to go back from my 4-year. But that's a different story altogether. Let's stay focused on you, Nessa, because you speaking truth right now, and we need to talk about this. And I'm gonna do that while I'm still trying to get set up with Sonder here. Maintain the 3.78 GPA. Yo, 3.78? That's what? That's honors. Yo, that's like your .0. Isn't that .02 off summa cum laude? Yo, that's some gangster shit. Cause I know you've been working. homie. Yo, and streaming. Dean's List entire college career. Fuck yes. Fuck yes. Good shit. Yo, Nessa's big brain, bro. She big brain. She big brainin', homie. Big brainin'. All that shit, and you still can't get a job. Well, you can get a job, but you can't get the job in the field you want because you don't have the experience, and you can't get the experience because they won't give you a shot in the first place. And that's the thing, right? Like in retail, 38 hours a week in retail. Yeah, nah, fuck that. 38 hours in retail, that's 60 hours a week of your real life actually taken from you. Whatever time you work in retail, multiply that by 2, and that's how many years you've actually shaved off your potential life's worth of happiness. Yo, you know internships are such a fucking loophole. Like in any in any other scenario, like in any other scenario, when would people ever be okay with agreeing to use their time towards experience for the sake of experience, right? Like, and that's the thing. The internship is supposed to actually fucking do that. The internship is supposed to actually give you the experience. And and just as important, it's supposed to give you. And here's the thing, right? Like, it's supposed to help you with networking and all that, but it doesn't matter who you know or what you know if you're not gonna get hired, right? If people already know, if in your situation people are like, all right, well, you know what, it is what it is. Continue working the pair. I make more money than they did. Jesus Christ. Oh Jesus. Oh Jeebus. Jeebus. Oh my God. That is not a happy one. That is not a good time, no. That's so fucked up. Fucked up. Mm-mm. 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 I don't even. Oh my gosh. Ella, thank you for the resub, for 3 months. Yo, good looks, good fucking looks, homie. I appreciate you clocking in. That's my rant for the day. You know what? I appreciate you. Thank you for sharing that, sir. I'm, I want to fight somebody right now, bro. Nessa, yo, let's. Oh my gosh. Now I see why, yo, when you get like aggressive on Warzone, like you're channeling that, right? We're channeling the aggression against our capitalist overlords on the fucking in the game and shit. Oh no, wait, no, why am I opening up Steam? I don't need Steam. Minecraft is not a Steam game. Yo, so Ella, spark notes of what happened, of what's been going on. So Nessa was talking about how she just graduated from college. She kicked ass in college. Yo, once again, I know you mentioned a while back, Nessa, but yo, congrats again on graduating, homie. Yo, that's always a huge achievement, right? And yo, more power to you. I see you. You did something for yourself. You set a goal. You put in the effort, and you made that shit happen, yo. More power to you, homie. More power to you. Congrats. You fucking deserve it. Dean's List, her entire college career, worked an internship, worked a full-time job. Now she can't get a job in her field because she does not have enough experience. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. I'm prepping. I'm prepping to try and get into grad school, and I'm concerned I will still run into the same issues. Oh. At least in my case, I still have some friends that have taken the same or similar path who might be able to get help from. But still, that's true. That's true. The experience trap is such bullshit. Yo, this is what's fucking wild about it, right? I used to work so I've mentioned this before, but I used to work in I used to work in the nonprofit field, working with kids, working with youth, and I worked in the school setting. So because it's a school setting, education was the prerequisite. You know what I'm saying? So Here's the thing with that. The fucked up thing about all of it was the fact that, oh wait, you know what? I'm bugging. I wanna holla at y'all, but let me call Sonder, let him know that I did not forget him, and I'm going to get back to y'all in chat. Hold up, hold up, hold up. I love y'all. Appreciate you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's go do this.
Hello, sir.
Hey, hey, what is going on, friend? How you doing? How you doing?
I'm good, man.
Yo, thank you for waiting. I'm sorry. Yo, one of the homies is dropping knowledge, and I am oh man, I'm ready to fucking fight somebody because of her mini rant. I appreciate her sharing with
Ooh.
me, but it's like, damn, that's grimy.
No, you're
Let
good. You're
me,
good.
yeah, man. Now let me turn this off. Let me turn the master volume down, cause I
Wait,
just
I
realized I
gotta
was.
put you up a bit. Actually, I don't know why.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah, yeah, I can hear you better now. Yeah.
Nice. And real quick, for my peoples in chat, can y'all hear Saunders when he's talking?
My chat thinks that me and you started talking already.
Oh, word. Oh no.
Nah, it hasn't happened yet.
Okay. Oh, he's low? Okay. You can hear Sonder though he's quiet. Okay, there you go. Let me just raise the volume on here. Oh no, not on the headphones. Yeah, let me raise it up on the headphones. And so that way they're able to hear you. Okay, cool. Um but yeah, man, like we're talking about education right now. Um
Education.
yeah,
What
so
about
like
it?
just the experience trap. So I got my homie Nessa. She's a fellow content creator. She
Mm-hmm.
is she is she just graduated. She got her degree. She graduated a 3.78 GPA, so dean's list the entire college career, right?
Mm.
So and then she did an internship, and basically now that she's working for a job, she's looking for a job as a lawyer. Nessa, is that correct? If you don't mind, if you could correct me on that, just let me know if I'm correct or if you could give me the tell me what you're going for. She can't find a job in the experience, right? Feel like I just wasted my time now on a booty ton of debt. Sorry. And so like in the chat, like we're just talking about like, oh, that's the experience. You know what I'm saying? Like the experience trap is basically bullshit, and I sympathize to that because I worked in nonprofit for 7 years, yet I I'm at a point. I was at a point where I was applying to be an assistant director running a site, running my own site. However, I always got denied, not just because of experience, but because of the education front, because I didn't have the prereqs. And like I get it, there's prereqs, right? Um, but that's not the only time that's happened to me. It's happened to me in other times too, experience, where experience was always the thing, like, oh, you just don't have enough experience. It's not enough that you're doing great at what you're doing now, but experience wise, we just don't want to take a chance on you, right? And it's tough to hear as an employee. It's tough to hear as someone like, oh, well, that means you're not going to really invest in me, right? So, but yeah, that's what we were talking about.
Oh, I think. I mean, I tell this my friends this thing that I've watched before. It was like basically this guy was basically saying that um how do I explain this? Like he's the valedictorian of this college in the States, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they his valedictorian speech ended up saying how like I'm a valedictorian now for the past 4 years or however many years he was there. I passed, I have the best grades in the class, whatever, valedictorian, whatever, right? But his he goes on and talks about how he regrets doing how he did it because of um how do I explain it? Because of how kind of like now he doesn't have a social life. Like he doesn't have a lot of
Mm,
friends because he was
yeah.
stuck at home, like studying all the time. He couldn't like figure out like a different way to like it's because a lot of people a lot of the times don't understand that like education isn't like the end all be all. Like you can get the experience like you know the school smarts versus street smarts thing.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
think in my personal opinion, I think school smarts or street smarts is a lot more important
Mm-hmm.
than wait, street smarts are a lot more important than school smarts because without street smarts, like where are you gonna go?
True.
So
You know.
like I don't know like does she live in the States? Because
Mm-hmm.
I know in the in Calgary or in Canada, at least I haven't heard that struggle from people yet. And I personally haven't experienced that struggle yet of having a hard time finding a job. But, you know, I mean, some people could be in that boat. And it's just like, I feel for them because I do know that there's some people who are struggling, especially in this current state of the world. But
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. I appreciate you saying that. And you know what? Like, I think it's funny because I think it's something that's, I'm sure it's universal, right? In that it does happen everywhere, but especially in the U.S., especially in the U.S., I just feel it's more of a common occurrence where you will find a job where, in order to get a job in your desired field, you're all of a sudden forced to, um, like, people will say, like, employers will say, well, you don't have the experience even though you have the education. Or for
mhm.
some places, they'll say you have the experience. I'm sorry, they'll say you have the education but not the experience. Or in other cases, they'll say you have the experience but not the education that we're looking for. And so, and here's the thing, right? Like,
Hello?
especially since the recession.
Oh,
Sorry, I was chewing a fry. I did not expect
oh,
that fry to be so damn crispy. Mm, but I think one of the main things. Oh my gosh. Whoa. Oh my gosh.
you're losing your, you're losing yourself.
I'm losing my place. Um, so I think the main thing is, like, especially in the U.S., uh, it's such an employer's market when it comes to people looking for a job. Be, but here's the thing, right? Like, just because there are jobs available doesn't mean that it's the right job,
Yeah,
or
or you'll
that
be happy.
it's a living wage even. Like, that's part of the whole struggle with, like, the fight here in the US. Like, there's this huge fight for $15 minimum wage, right? Just for a living wage. Not even like,
Which is that's minimum here too.
yeah, and it's crazy cuz there are things like, it's funny cuz, like, when I'm talking to you or when I'm talking to Ella or when I'm talking to other people, and I'm just like, "Wait, you guys get all that? Like, still? What?"
Oh yeah, free
Like,
healthcare, $15 wage.
I'm like, "Damn, yo." Like, I had to go, I lost my voice for like pretty much 2 weeks and I haven't made any money. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy.
Wait, you
Um,
couldn't like wait, you can't are you able to like get any like government support or anything there? Like, because I know when I can't go to work, I you could apply for some government
hmm
support, and then they basically give you like $900 every like 2 weeks, just so you could like stay alive type deal.
I could apply for short-term disability. Any more than that, I'd have to apply for FMLA. Because of the nature of the job I work in, it wasn't
Uh-huh.
worth it. Because I'm technically work from home, and
Uh-huh.
Texas is, my well, not Texas, but some states more. I don't want to like throw subs, but some states more so than others are less forgiving. Um, Less forgiving in terms of that, because ultimately in the states, here in the United States, it's like unemployment, those types of benefits, those fall on the state level. Like there are
Hmm.
things I could apply for federal aid, but then also on the state level, it's like just as equally. That's where there's more of that, basically, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
and with all that being said, again, like it's crazy, like just how much I hear how jealous I am of y'all.
Yeah. Move
Yeah,
here then.
no facts. But you know what? Like that's not grass is always greener on the other side.
Yeah, yeah.
Ella is sharing in my chat about issues that she's having with her job, which is crazy. But yo, man. But I'm gonna jump to that, Ella. I don't want you guys to think I'm ignoring you, but I got Sandra on the call. Sandra, thank you for joining me, man. Appreciate you. How are you today, by the way? I didn't even get to say hi to you, man. How are you?
I just at the gym today, honestly.
Mm.
Yeah. So I woke up and I just went to the gym, and then I went home and I kind of just made some content for YouTube, etc. And then that's about it, honestly. I was just waiting to stream, and now I'm here.
Mm. Okay, okay, okay. Okay. How's my mic not great until I'm eating fries? I'm sorry. But I think like that's awesome, man. So when you say making content from YouTube, you're talking about like from editing from the VODs, from editing from
Oh well,
like
okay.
what
So
do you mean by
I
that?
like part of my brand is keyboard related stuff. You know that, right?
Mm,
And so like I build. Wait, actually, I don't think you. How do you know that I build keyboards?
yep. Mhm.
Okay, yeah. So I built keyboards, and a package came in for the next keyboard build.
Ooh.
And so for content, what I do is I create a video of building the keyboard for YouTube, make TikToks of it, which I haven't done, but I was recording me building the process um of building the keyboard, and then I was gonna disassemble it, and then I was gonna build it again for stream in next week. So
Wow.
it's like content on YouTube, content on TikTok, and then content on Twitch. It's
That's
usually
awesome.
planned out.
That's awesome, man. So that is that's freaking dope. That's freaking dope. So do you find that is that part of your process generally whenever you do keyboard? Because I know like you've mentioned before, like every 100 followers you're gonna say, okay, well I'm gonna do like a giveaway for a
Mhm.
keyboard, right? Or like a raffle or whichever. And why
Yeah.
is my command not working? But that's cool. And then, so do you always like build it just to see how you want to do it, or is there like another? Do you just try different processes when you're going through with
Well,
that?
the first build I have is the keyboard that I have like using right now. And it was my first build, my first full build. I've built keyboards before, but it's like my first personal built one.
Mm.
And then mm, this one that I'm built, I have a keyboard coming at the end of the month, and then I have this keyboard.
Hmm.
The keyboard that came in today is a themed ish keyboard, which is it's a purple case with purple keyboard switches. And if you guys don't know what keyboard switches are, basically they change like the sound profile of like every time you press the key. And the reason I got into it was is because of, I mean, weirdly enough, ASMR. There's a
Ooh.
lot of TikTok ASMR videos that like that I like, cuz sometimes when at school when I'm typing, like you get tired of the sound of the keyboard or the sound of clicking, like just you know. And so I was trying to look for a way to um enjoy that more. And then I got into keyboard, and now I'm using it. You could use it for gaming. You could use it for a lot of different things. And there's a huge kind of like not really big, but there's a lot of people who are interested in it, interested
Mm-hmm.
in those sort of things more than you'd think.
Mm-hmm.
And then so it's kind of like that specific niche that I've kind of targeted
Oh,
through my
definitely.
streaming. Like, because I think I was talking to Cy and Christine the other day, and they were talking to me about, or we were talking about analytics, and I saw that like my best streams out of for the past like 2 months has been my keyboard build streams. So there is like an interest towards it.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And I think that's awesome. Honestly, just the fact that you've been able to build that, dude. Like more power to you, frankly. And th- so do you find that since building up as a content creator, like you kind of found the niche, and since then, have you continued to just like, okay, I'm gonna focus on this, or I'm gonna also see what works for me, like branching out? If you don't mind me asking, like, what have?
Well, but to start off, I played video games just to play video games. I play like almost every single day. And I played Valorant a lot. And there's just this one time where a friend of mine told me like, why don't I just stream it? Because like, just why not? And I was thinking about it. I was like, yeah, why don't I stream it? And so like, there was this one day, and I didn't even plan it or I didn't even tell anybody. But one day, I just decided to like click the live button
Mm-hmm.
and play games. And then
Mm-hmm.
after, I don't even remember what happened after that. But after that, it's just been kind of like me pressing live almost every day. And to a certain point, I streamed every day to till I kind of got burnt out of streaming every day, and it's
Yeah.
because it was just Valo. And at that time, I wasn't even like meeting people or making friends. I was kind of just playing the game, and there wasn't any growth. And I started noticing that, so I moved over to um, changing it up a bit. And a little bit of my background is because I am a content creator at heart because I'm a videographer and an editor.
Mm.
So I just film events. So I always have a camera on me, and I always like to film stuff and edit stuff.
Right. Right. Right.
And then Twitch was kind of like an extra thing for me to do, if that makes sense. On like something I wanted to do.
Mm. That's awesome.
So I did
That's so
that,
awesome.
or I've been doing that, and yeah. So I switched from Valo to like streaming a variety of different games, which is Valo, Minecraft. Um, and then weirdly enough, I kind of like started like kind of um going around more different streams and friends, and I've met you through Tristan. I've met Christine through Kilo. Um, I met Sai through um who did I meet? Sai through Tristan as well. Like you just get to meet these people, and then all of a sudden you just uh play games with them all the time, and they become like friends. And like I don't even remember the last time I've kind of like gained a friend per se, other than from school, especially during COVID times where you're at home. Like you don't
Mm-hmm.
really make as much friends as you used to.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
So like making friends online it's just kind of a different thing, and it kind of makes you feel more. Actually, that's one of the things that I enjoy most about streaming. Probably, it's like you get to meet those people, and it's just like I honestly don't even know how to explain it, but you get to meet these people, and you get to learn more about them, and it just brings a different aspect and a different personality into like streaming and content creating. And not even that, like if I chose to like give up streaming, for example, I would probably still like um s- I forgot what I don't know what the word to use is to like keep in contact, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
with
Yeah.
with all you guys.
I think that brings up a really good point, and it's funny because like in my chat, Vanessa's saying like COVID is one of the best things to happen. best experiences. Not to sound because it's terrible, but I totally get it, right? Like, cause I think, well, first off, for me, I sympathize with that because especially when I was working and going to school, I was all I did was put my nose to the grindstone, bust my ass, right? I'll get home in time to fall asleep. I'd wake up and then that's it. And because I was always moving from place to place, I never had time to like actually like, oh, let's go hang out, let's go do this, let's go do that, unless
Socialize.
yeah, socialize. Unless I was like, okay, well, I had to convince myself like, okay, well, there's actually a benefit, right? And I think that's one of the biggest things, right? When you're in the time crunch, for me, it's like, okay, well, I have to figure out a way to what's really the advantage, and it's not I'm gonna hang out with these people because I need to relax and have fun. It's like, okay, well, I need to I need to hang out with people with X amount of people or with these people because there could be a potential opportunity or there's a potential to monetize this situation or there's a way for me to benefit myself in the future, right? And that's and thinking back on it now, I'm like, yo, that's kind of a fucked up way to go about it, right? Like you're not making friends, it's not about making friends anymore. It's just about, oh, I'm networking.
Content.
Yeah, I'm content. You know, like, and this is even before I started streaming. That's just like, and maybe it's like a very New York state of. It's not just in New York, but I think it's just like a struggle based mentality. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, like I need to monetize my time as much as possible because I need to get ahead as much as possible. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I think with COVID, um, it was a full stop on everything. Like all of a sudden, I was working from home. I had a lot more time on my hands, and I realized even the time I spent with people, it wasn't me making friends. And so, and now fast forward to now at this point, like where I'm able to now reflect, and now I'm able, I have a job where I work from home now. I'm blessed for that, and I've gotten to meet you, TJ, Christine, Sai, Cools, Naya, Ella, everyone in chat, right? Like there's so many people that we end up that end up um that have been such a boon to my life, right? And like I've
Mhm.
actually, and so I completely sympathize. You know, it's crazy the fact that you're able to, oh well, now even though I'm not meeting you in person, I feel like I have more balanced relationships with people, right? Um, and it's like, oh, internet friends are actually real friends, you know, because we have
Yeah.
arguments, we have talks. Um, I Kelly Lemon Zest is Kelly is I love her so much. She's such a dope person. Like we talk about mental health, we talk about other things, right? And she's always like willing to check in and do all these cool things, and it's super dope. And like same with, and there's so many other people that I'm able to check in within the community, not just within like my Discord, but just within like people that we just met, right? And it's really cool. Um, so thank you for sharing that. And sorry, that's what I wanted to say in a roundabout way, G.
Yeah.
Oh man, but no. Have you ever felt like have you ever have you felt uh I want to ask because you and I we were talking you and I we talked a little bit last week, right? On Friday, I think. And we were talking a little bit about like relationships and that kind of deal. Do you feel like COVID well, first off, do you feel like COVID has shifted expectations in your relationships with Mrs. Sonder or just your idea of relationships in general, if you don't mind me asking?
Um, I think I think well, I mean, I think every relationship is different.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I've never kind of like thought of it that way, if that makes sense. Like I've always kind of said that like I don't know how to explain it. It's because before, I don't know if a lot of people might agree with what I'm about to say, or a lot of people might not.
Speak your
But
truth, man.
when I feel like when you're younger, you tend to have like a lot of expectations or a lot of what you think you want from another person, and um, when you realize that sometimes you gotta just like stop thinking about that and start thinking more about like um start thinking more about like why don't I just kind of like live life that like without thinking of anything and everything all the time, because it would kind of stop you from trying to build all these relationships.
Mhm.
So that's why the way me and Jewel or Mrs. Sonder kind of got together was because I just stopped over worrying or thinking about like, oh, what if this girl this, what if this girl is that, um, and like
Mm.
you kind of just like go with the flow, and that's like COVID. That's probably where COVID has uh has teached me. They just like, go with the flow, and literally I've done that, and I've met people online that I never thought I would meet more people. And like I guess it's just it's kind of translated to a lot of regular daily life stuff as well,
Mhm.
because if you think about like if you always constantly think about your actions all the time, you're never going to find success, because like success comes from failure. If you're so afraid to fail, then how are you going to succeed in the first place? Like you won't know how to succeed if you don't know how to fail.
Mhm. Mhm. I appreciate that perspective, and I honestly I think that's awesome. Just being able to take that, and I really one thing that resonated with me was talking about expectations, right? Um, I'd like to dig into that more actually, if you don't mind.
Mhm.
Did you find like when you're younger, this idea of relationships, like, where do you think like these expectations, like, for example, what kind of like expectations did you say would you say as like an example, and then where do you think like they came from? Like, what do you think influenced your expectations of a relationship? I guess it's a two
I
part.
mean, I mean, I living in the Philippines. I mean, I never really got into a relationship in the Philippines, but I lived in the Philippines since till I was 10 or 11, and then I moved here. Um,
Oh,
and
wow.
then so yeah, but basically my entire childhood is kind of here if I think about it. Um, and so growing up, it was like my idea of a relationship was kind of like from movies. Like whatever I see in movie or whatever I understand in movies, that's what I it was. But then it wasn't till I kind of like tried to understand it for myself instead of comparing it to other things that I shouldn't really be comparing it to. That's when I kind of it kind of like shifted for me at least.
Okay, okay. So when you say like things you shouldn't expect it to, like, you're talking about like relating your like romance to what you see in the movie, right?
Yes, exactly.
Oh, gotcha, gotcha. Okay, yeah. No, that's definitely that's the truth. That's the truth, and I appreciate that, man. Do you ever find that? Because oh my gosh, there's so much I want to say on that, like, but at the same, I have like a follow up question, and I'm trying to figure out how to word it in my head.
Okay.
But in the meantime, so I appreciate your patience with me there. Um, but again, thanks for sharing that perspective, and I find that, and it's really cool that you're able to share all this, and we're just able to chat about it on stream and such, man. I appreciate you really. Do you find that it's since going with the flow, or I get, I would say even you said earlier you can't always think about what you're doing. You just have to kind of go with the flow.
Mm-hmm.
Thinking, looking back, if you're looking back in your life, right, in hindsight, like, because hindsight's always 2020, right? We can always
Yeah.
look back and say, okay, well, I did this wrong or I did that wrong. But there's no way to know until you're past that moment, right? Um,
Yeah. Huh.
with all that being said, if there was like one piece of advice on this topic when it comes to relationships, if there was one piece of advice you could give younger Sonder Jr., mini Sonder,
Yeah.
um, what ah, what one piece of advice would you give him in that case, in that situation? Like, that would be something.
Um, I guess you kind of just have to stop thinking. I mean, some people do this, like where they think of a person as a benefit, but instead of thinking that, like you got to think about what you don't think about what that person would benefit you. Think about how you would benefit that person. It's not always about a lot of the times I think we grow up in a very kind of selfish way of thinking. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of people don't, like it
Mm-hmm.
depends on the person, right? But I would say that like you just gotta just honestly like sometimes just stop thinking and just do it. It's easy to say, it's
Yeah.
for sure super easy to say but really hard to do. But it's actually just that, like people go through heartbreaks and people go through all these struggles with relationships, and what they got to realize is sometimes um, you got to just think for yourself for a bit, and then you just go with the flow. You don't stop overthinking about what could happen and just do it, and then you just deal about what happens next, like when it happens. Because all people are so, like I said before, people are so afraid to fail that they don't realize that literally just have to do they just have to do it. Literally just do it, and you will eventually find the success that you want, because that's the point of, like, you fail for a reason. Like there's like if like I mean, not trying to be religious or anything, but if, for example, God invented success, he invented failure. So you need to learn to fail in order to succeed.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes with anything, in my personal opinion, it goes with uh anything related to life. You just gotta learn to stop asking yourself the what ifs and literally just start doing it. Because the moment you
Mm.
start doing it, the moment you realize what you do need to do and what you don't need to do. And that's exactly the only thing you need. And then from there on, you kind of just experiment and like live life the way you want to live it, and then respond to like all the other things.
That's awesome. That is awesome. No, I appreciate it, man. I think, like, while it's always good to think about your next move, right? The most important thing is the most important part of that entire process is actually making the move itself, right? For
Hmm.
better or for worse, right? But until you do that, until the action happens, you have no way of knowing. You have no
Right.
hindsight, right? And so, I think as we go older, right, we can start to lean on experience, right? What we've learned for ourselves, what we've learned from watching others, hopefully, right, to making better
Yeah.
informed decisions, right? But a part of that, again, all that is revolves around being brave to make decisions, being brave to make mistakes, right? Have you ever heard of like the growth mindset, Sandra? If you don't mind me asking,
The what?
growth mindset.
No, not
Okay,
really.
okay. So, like, it's crazy because what you're talking about is describing exactly that, right? So the growth mindset, it's this theory that instead, it's focused for young people, but it's a generalized. It's something that can be applied for all aspects of learning at any stage, right? It's not about praising. the results necessarily, but praising learners for the process, for going through the process and for taking the effort to solve a question or to work at a question, right? Even if they get
Hmm.
an answer, right? So you're praising the effort that's made, that went into it, regardless of the end result. So, for example, if if I have my child, if I have a daughter that wants to get into gymnastics, and then I take her to practice every day, and she practices hard, and then she enters a competition, she gets seventh place, right? I'm celebrating her. I'm still celebrating her every day, right? Her practices. I'm celebrating her effort. I'm celebrating that, right? And I'm celebrating her failure too, right? Because maybe there's feedback there that she needs to hear, not just from me, but from her coach as well, right? Like, hey, I'm taking you to practice. Your dad takes you to practice every week, but you don't you don't try as hard until like the last 20 minutes. So you're not getting the same out of every practice. That being said, you're here for every practice, so that's awesome. But if that's what you want to do, then that's fine. But, it's like being realistic, but because you don't want to set false expectations, right?
Hmm.
Because what's the common thing? This is something I hear all the time, especially uh, working with kids in basketball. If they lose a game, you'll hear a parent tell their kid, you know what? Other team just got lucky.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or, man, your coach messed up, man. Like, or even on the back half, like, oh, you messed up. Like, no positive praise whatsoever. But I've heard it all, unfortunately. And
There's no constructive criticism there.
yeah, there's no
Like,
constructive. That's the thing. There's no constructive criticism, but there's no constructive praise either, right? That's the main
mhm.
thing. You're letting your kid off the hook when you shouldn't, but
That
it's
reminds
okay.
me of sorry to cut you off, but that
No, no, no.
reminds me of
Please.
uh, have you ever experienced this thing where like when you're a kid you feel like you do a lot of good things and a lot of bad things too, right?
Yeah.
But when you do the good things, you feel like you never get praised for doing the good things, but when you do a bad thing, it seems like that's the only thing your parents ever notice.
Oh yeah. I mean, dude, I'm Filipino, of course.
I mean, exactly. That's
We're
exactly like
Asian,
it's
bro.
kind that's literally what it reminds me of.
Mhm.
It like that
Mhm.
sometimes you should it should be equal,
Mhm.
and that's probably what a lot of the times like kids or like people have problems with their parents is because of that exact reason.
Yeah, absolutely right. And it's funny, right? Because working with youth, especially, you see that all the time, right? Like, if you're a good kid, quote unquote, you'll get
Mhm.
told good job every now and then, right? But the bad kid is always the one that the teacher spends the most time on, right?
Exactly.
And then as a kid, it makes you think almost like, well, either A, if I want attention, I have to be bad, right? And if I'm willing to be bad, then at least I'm getting some sort of attention, right? From whoever. That's why when kids are acting out, especially younger children act out, it's not just that they're bad kids, but there's a cry for attention there, right?
Yeah, they're crying for attention.
Yeah, and or there's always a reason, right? There's always a motivation behind it. So nah, I appreciate you bringing that up. And so from a cultural standpoint, though, right, in the Philippines, because it's like a very, or most like Asian cultures, I would say, but
Hmm.
because I've always been interested, like, to talk to another Filipino who's not family, who on their perspective on
Oh
like.
yeah.
And so you came here, you lived in the Philippines until you said you were 10, 11, and then you moved out to Canada? That's awesome.
Yeah, so I was there since I was 11, and then I moved and immigrated to here. And at first I actually
Mm,
hated it at first, believe it or not.
wow.
Uh, I don't know. I
How come?
it I guess I was just comfortable and I was afraid to get out of my comfort zone.
Mm,
I think
mm,
that's the best way to I could explain it.
mhm, mhm.
So I just didn't want to be. I honestly don't even know what why I was like that. Maybe I was just a kid that really just was comfortable and didn't want to. I honestly don't know. I'm trying to think of what it is, but I really don't know. But I mean, I'm okay with it now.
Frenchie too has clocked
Oh,
in. May this money bless you. PS. You built like the Green Mile football pads.
thank you, Frenchie, for. Oh my gosh, thank you, Frenchie. And I appreciate you sharing that, bro. It's funny. I lived. I can only imagine the culture shock coming from the Philippines to Canada, to like an entirely different country.
Hmm.
Um, I was raised. I emigrated to New York when I was a baby, so I've been raised in the states my whole life, as far as I'm concerned, right? For as long as I could remember, that's for sure. And I think it's always really interesting to hear that perspective from my siblings. Like when I ask them, because I'm the youngest of 9 kids, and so when I talk to my older siblings, they're just like, yeah, we came in, we had to take English second language, we had to do all these things. We were kind of looked at weirdly because people were like, "Oh, I don't know if you speak English yet or not," and like, um, we're all kind of dark, so we always got confused for being Spanish kids, and so we didn't understand Spanish either. So no one felt like, my siblings were like, "Yeah, I felt like I couldn't talk to any kids like my first year." Until like I finally got comfortable speaking English, so
Uh huh.
um, it's always interesting to hear that perspective, and I think like what is it? And so, do you feel now coming back into it, reflecting back, right? Um, do you would you was there anything you do differently, like, or one thing that you think would have helped you be more comfortable transitioning from the Philippines to Canada or Calgary?
Well, I I think moving here. Actually, I had a different experience. When I moved here, everybody thought I was born here. My first
Oh,
language was my first my first language was a mix of Tagalog and English.
oh okay, awesome.
So it wasn't as big of a struggle for me,
Uh huh.
because in the area that I did go to, there was a lot of Filipino kids as well. So it's not that I
Uh,
gravitated towards them, but it was kind of more like they gravitated towards me because they understand they struggled the same way I did. So they kind of subconsciously wanted to help me and make it easier for me. That's how
mm,
I saw it. And so it wasn't as hard of a transition for me, I
mhm.
guess.
Mhm. That's awesome, man. I'm jealous because as a kid, I actually did not like any of the Filipino kids in my school. Uh, I
Oh,
actually,
I
yeah.
don't like I have a thing. I have a thing. Not that I hate my own culture, but there's certain type. I mean, I feel like you could relate to this. You know that there's Filipinos, but then there's different kinds of Filipinos. If you know what I mean.
What do you? I get what you're saying, but can you like go into more detail for everyone that's listening in?
There's these Filipinos who move here, and since they move here, they like act like they're like
Mhm.
the best person. Like they act like I gotta respect them more or whatever.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
then there's some Filipinos who were born here and kind of just assimilated to the culture, and that's more natural in a way.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the other ones, I don't like. I don't like the ones that are would come up to you and act like they have they act like they have something to prove all the time.
Mhm.
So
Oh my
like those
gosh.
ones hate me. Sorry, give me one sec actually.
No worries, no worries. So, while we're waiting on Sander, thanks everyone for checking in. Thank you for clocking in. Quick again, Frenchie, thank you for the free sub at tier 1. 3 months. We talking about Filipinos. We talking about Jews. We're talking about Filipinos, bro. But it's funny. What Sandra was talking about is something that is really universal. Especially in Asian cultures, I think, or most minority cultures where there's like this, where there's been where people have been colonized, right? Like if you make it in America, right, you're well off, right, and not just from a financial perspective, but just you're better, right? And what Sandra was talking about, nail on the head. That's exactly why I didn't make friends with any Filipinos until I was an adult. I did not get along with any Filipinos. I didn't like Filipino girls. I didn't like Filipino, like I didn't like hang out with the other Filipino guys because they're always so like there's always this air of arrogance, and especially because a lot of them made more money than my family made. And so like I didn't grow up in the best of circumstances. I wore hand-me-downs for most of my life. You know, like I said, youngest of 9 kids. You get a lot of fucking hand-me-downs. You know, I don't like Puerto Ricans. I still don't. I know Frenchie, and you know what, Frenchie? We've talked about why, right? Like, there's this whole concept of like arrogance, there's cultural arrogance and dominance. Especially when it comes to Puerto Ricans versus Dominicans and how we treat colorism, right? And that's especially true in the Philippines. Um, but I wouldn't say I wouldn't want to generalize it. I get with your experience, Frenchie. I get with your experience. In my experience dealing with Filipinos, it was very tough growing up. But I have to show grace because I know that it ended up working out for me in the future, um, where I can be, where I can show grace to myself and to others, and like try to see the best in people. But I think I had to look at it. I had to I had to think about. You know what? I'm just gonna switch back to just chatting because I'm supposed to be playing. I'm supposed to be playing Minecraft, right? I'm supposed to be playing Minecraft, but I would just much rather just vibe. I'm just switch back to just chatting. Because I just got moved to idle, and we're just hanging out with Sandra. We're just vibing. We're chilling. Um, and where's this audio coming from? Oh yeah, from here. We're just gonna quit the game. We're just gonna go back to Facecam. Um, all we need to do is band together and agree that Xbox players are subhumans. Oof, oof, bro. I can't do that, Frenchie. I can't get in the middle of this, man. I can't get in the middle of the console. I'm part of the PC team.
Okay,
Part of the
I'm
PC
back.
team.
Sorry.
Yo, welcome back.
Yes,
uh,
I missed it, but in my chat, yeah, somebody said that they know what they what I mean about the
mhm.
Filipino difference. I feel like you know what I mean. Like I feel like in
Yep.
Tagalog, it's like siga in a way.
You know, it's so funny because I was oh, yeah, I was just talking about it when you stepped away. Um
Hmm.
it's it's the air of arrogance, right? Like, oh, because
Hmm.
I've lived here for longer, or because I live here now, like I'm better than you because you're fresh off. You're like FOB, you're fresh off the boat, yada yada. Um and I think one I was just telling chat and
Somebody
maybe
in my
other
chat
people.
said the Swagapinos.
The Swagapinos. Yes, anak, you already know.
I know.
You
Justine
already
said
know,
that too.
Justine. You already know.
It's literally
Yo.
though. I freaking hate those people.
I was telling I told my chat, and I was telling my chats on her like I I didn't make friends with any Filipinos until I became an adult. Like
Uh huh.
I
Okay.
like because especially in New York, right? Especially in New York.
I feel like that's so different too in New York.
Yeah, cuz for me, in my all in my part of Queens, there's a big Filipino community, but most of them live in a certain, like, within a certain range of streets, like um within a certain range of streets, and we didn't live with them because we lived in a different part of the neighborhood where it was like mostly Spanish, uh mostly like Puerto Ricans and Dominicans, some Colombians, we started, and then it's the demographics started to shift, right? As time passed, the demographics of the neighborhood. But anyway, so my family, we didn't grow up the richest. Like I said, I'm the youngest of 9 kids, so I was wearing hand-me-downs until I was like 19, bro. I've been, and so all the other Filipino kids, they'd look at me and they'd be like, "Oh, why are you wearing poor people clothes? Yada yada yada. We're in the States now. You should be wearing like the cool stuff. You should be wearing Mecca, not Old Navy, shit like that. And like for me, I was just like, yo, you're so fucking pretentious. Like I know your mom cooks you. I know your mom and my mom buy their rice from the same fucking place, bro. Like, chill. It's not that serious. But it was always funny to deal with that, man. And it was, ugh. I'm glad. I'm glad it's not working. It's not like that no more.
Have you ever experienced family members of your, or like, so like I guess the best way for me to explain it is just like um you go into, like, you're living in a different country now, right? We're living in a different country,
Mhm.
and then all of a sudden, like, everybody from the Philippines thinks you're like rich, but in reality you're kind of just
Mm.
like average. But they
Mhm.
don't realize that the difference between average here and average in the Philippines is different.
It's such a
Like,
worldly difference, yeah.
and
Um,
then but like there's a misconception that people think that you're like a lot of people think my family is rich for the stuff I have, but in reality, if they moved here and lived the same average life that I'm living, they would have the same things.
exactly, yeah. And I think that's a really good point. I think the US dollar is worth more, right? Yeah. And my buddy Frenchie's asking in chat about that. Yeah. The dollar is worth infinitely more than the peso, typically
Oh,
ranging
a
anywhere
lot more.
from, at its lowest, it's no lower than like 43 pesos to the dollar, uh to upwards anywhere from at least 43 to 52. That's kind of the range for the conversion rate from pesos to dollars. Um, but I think the funny thing is, I completely agree. Um, I've only been back to the Philippines once, and it's when I was 4 years old, right?
Same.
Right. And the funny thing is, I remember I went there because I went for one of my grandparents had died. My grandmother, I believe. Yeah, my grandmother had died, and I never met her, right? Um, so I felt sad, but I just didn't know who she was. But it was a chance to like meet family and such. So I fly there, and we're talking about. I was talking to some of my cousins about like, oh, you guys like rich there in the Philip? You guys are rich there in America.
Oh my god, exactly.
And I just remembered this conversation I was having where I was just like, well, sometimes my classmates will like drop pennies and not pick them up, you know? And like I remember like I was talking about pennies and such, and my dad heard me talking, and then he like roughly pulled me aside. He's like, "No, don't do that, cause you're gonna get kidnapped. People think you're rich, cause you're from America." Like my dad like really scolded the shit out of me,
Yeah.
and I'm 4 year in this situation. I'm 4 years old. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck is going on. I'm just like, they asked me a
Uh-huh.
question, like, so now I'm scared I'm gonna get fucking kidnapped the entire trip.
When I went
uh,
to the Philippines
yo.
too, I I tried so hard not to speak in English because people just treat you differently. Like if they could see that you speak that straight English, they just think they just think I'm a different breed of person.
Mm-hmm.
And they usually the sad thing apart about it too is they figure out if you're um like a lot of the I don't know how, but they figure out like if you're from a different country or not. And then when you're a tourist going to the Philippines, they charge you more for what it really is because of I mean, as sad as it is, like that's how
That's how hard up it
struggle.
is. Yep.
Yeah, it is over there. So like it's kind of the norm, but at the same time, it shouldn't be the norm if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But
Sorry,
it
I'm still
sucks.
chewing.
But that's kind of like the life that country is kind of like known to be like that, and can't really do anything about it.
I think it's honestly, I am. It never ceases to amaze me just how, and I've seen it happen with other Filipinos. I've heard about it happen to other people too, where people will take advantage of their fellow countrymen, especially those who are like just fresh off the boat, because they're trying to make it ahead. You're like willing to throw other people underneath the bus, or you're willing to overcharge.
Yeah, but in reality, we're all struggling the same way.
Yeah, everyone's all struggling in the same way, and like maybe if you, but here's the thing, right? Like scammers definitely, yeah. Oh, hi Justine. Now she's lurking with me too. Thank you, Anak. Appreciate you. And yeah, I think it's thanks for checking in this conversation. And Sandra, thanks again, man. It's nice being able to like swap perspectives, especially because like
Hmm.
I feel like there's a lot of similarities, but we are raised in two completely different places, and there are different
Yeah,
spaces with that as well. Along with our own individual experiences, right, are going to be of course different.
yeah,
And so I do appreciate again just having the time to like just I guess shoot the shit.
yeah.
We go from there, but and I think I've seen and I think like in New York, it's you just see people, in my experience, I get everyone's trying to get ahead, but and I think and so that's kind of like formed helped me form my opinions around capitalism and how maybe there's a better way we can govern ourselves or we could provide for ourselves, right? But ultimately, like all the fucked up things that people do to each other, right? Well, here in the states, right? Like when we scam each other and such, like it's justified because uh, we're able to justify it because oh we're trying to move forward, right? We're trying to get ahead for our own sakes, and in the Philippines, to my understanding, right? Because the the bar for living well, right? The means to get ahead of living well is so much higher, right? Because
Hmm.
um, people are so much poorer out there. It's no surprise. And but with all that being said, it's you would
Shouldn't be an excuse to be a shitty person.
yeah, it doesn't give you an excuse to be a shitty person. And thank you. Exactly. That's exactly what it is. Right? Like my parents my parents, you know, my parents are here with their siblings and my cousins are here and a lot of my family on my dad's side emigrated here to the states starting in the 70s and the 80s and so on and so forth um, because of I had an aunt that lived here that was able to help bring everyone over, especially when the Immigration Act was signed in 1968. um, and so like it's really interesting though to see when my parents came here, my dad was very racist and he never wanted me. He didn't like it. He didn't want me to play outside. Well, because first off, my parents did not want me to play outside because they were so worried about me getting too dark, right?
Okay.
And so it's like this whole idea of colorism, right? Because like,
Yeah.
you seen the ads, you see all the celebrities that we have in the Philippines, or in general, like we glorify the mestizos, like
Mhm.
anyone that's lighter skinned, right?
Mhm.
And look, I'm not saying that you're not pretty, that you can't not be pretty and be light skinned, but hey, guess what? We're children of the fucking sun. You know what I'm saying? We we ain't sun kissed. You know what I'm saying? We on that motherfucker. We
Mhm.
dark and beautiful, baby.
Exactly.
That's me. But I remember I remember as a kid, I used to love spending my summers in Pennsylvania with an uncle and aunt. And one summer, I was out there. I was outside all day, every day that summer. I got dark as fuck. And
Okay.
I remember coming back, and I remember my mom and dad being so mad at my aunt for letting me play outdoors all day. And I was just like, huh? And I was like, why are you mad at, why are you mad at Auntie Evie? Like,
Yeah.
like, she fed me and everything, and you told me to play, so I played. I had fun. And I never got that. Um, but it was so funny. Like they're so disappointed, and then from that point on, they always made me like play indoors or whichever, and like they were always so ashamed if like someone tried to speak Spanish to me. Like my son's not one of you. And it's like it's funny. It's one of those things you don't think about until you get older. You're like, oh, that's actually kind of fucked up what they did.
I think that's a lot of things that happens in
Yeah,
school. Like
yeah,
in
a
school
lot.
when you're in like junior high, you feel like your
Ah,
friends say a lot of different things that you wouldn't really expect to be racist or whatever
mhm,
till you actually grow up and realize, oh, that was actually pretty racist or pretty
mhm,
sexist or whatever.
mhm. Oh yeah, definitely. And like I said, I didn't make friends with any Filipinos. I was always hanging out with, cause again, I didn't have any. I didn't live near any other Filipinos. I lived near all the Spanish and black kids. So guess what? I made friends with all the people I was near.
Hmm.
And I'm sure if I lived in a predominantly white community or Asian community, it probably would have followed suit. I would have found people within that community, but like I said, right? It took me a while to adjust my worldview, to understand my worldview, and to find people that fit within that. Um, with all that being said, though, you know, I found my experience. I always found there was so much more I had similarly with the other with the other kids in my school, like the Spanish kids in my school, than the other Filipinos. Because a lot of the other Filipinos were going to like private school in my neighborhood, and I went to public school. Um, they were doing other things, and they had like better clothes, and or like they had their own like subculture and their own friend groups and shit. And me, I was like, I'm just out here wilding out with the homies, you know.
Hmm.
And so we didn't like me and them like we just didn't understand it, and that was really the most ironic thing to me is like the whole time at home my parents are saying, okay, you're a Filipino, you should be proud, da 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 da. Yet when I'm outside in the world by myself, especially because I'm darker than most of the other Filipinos I know, and because I'm not like submitting to that mindset. I'm just like, yo, um, I don't really like being Filipino so much. I'd
Hmm.
rather I relate more to my Colombians and all my Spanish peoples and all my other friends of color and shit. Like I vibe with them more because I'm accepted, right?
Yeah.
So it's an interesting experience. But yeah, the colorism is so real.
I feel
Yes.
like even the sexism a lot of the time too.
Oh my gosh.
I can't deal with
Mm.
it, but I mean I can, but I choose not to.
Mhm.
I feel like it's
Mhm.
just I don't know. I've had a conversation before where I don't, you probably heard this. Um, people saying, uh, people saying, oh god, I just lost my train of thought. Um, oh, okay, I did just lose my train of thought. People would usually say that keep your Filipino morals, don't forget your Filipino morals, don't forget where you come from, blah blah blah. And I, to a certain extent, I do agree with that, but also like we're living in a different country. I
Mhm.
don't have to be Filipino in a country that's not the Philippines. I can choose to be whoever I want to be because that's
Mhm.
what I want to be. It doesn't
Mhm.
mean that I'm Filipino. I gotta do all these certain things that the world tells us to do, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
Just because we're Filipino, like I feel like a lot of the times Filipinos expect you to do something just because you're Filipino, not because it's the right thing to do.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Like, and there's a lot of, it's funny cuz I've always found there's been a lot of similarities, and cuz in the Philippines we do pray, it's respect for elders. There's a lot of correlations, intentional and accidental, between um, how, as Filipinos, we were raised, cultural, as well as also with the colonized mindset of like Spaniards and Americans, and then also even dating back to like Confucianism principles, right? Confucianism, right? Like respect elders, man is better than woman, or brother, children should obey their parents, so on and so forth, right? There's so much that's delved into that. I think so much that's packed into that, right? And not just the Philippines, but other countries within the other Southeast Asian countries, especially. One thing I've always found interesting on that point, right, was my father, because my father was the eldest male, right? He was always seen as like the head of the family after my parents died, right? He was always seen as one of the heads, quote unquote. Even though my aunt Evie is the older sister, but she was never, but she wasn't accepted by my parents, so by her parents, and so she's the one. But in spite of that, my aunt is the one that's responsible for us coming to the States. Not just me, but all my siblings, all my cousins that came here, my aunts and uncles on my dad's side, right? That came here to the States. They're here. We're all here because she helped it, right? Um, but when she died, everyone looked at my dad like, okay, well, you're the elder now. You're the one in charge. And um, I can say this because I'm just gonna be upfront. I don't have a good relationship with my father. Fuck that guy. Um, I'm just
Wait,
gonna be
but
upfront.
wait, they passed. You said they passed, right?
No, not my dad. My dad's still
Oh,
alive.
I see.
Um,
Oh, I see.
I'm just saying I think my dad's a piece of shit.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just being upfront about it. But
Uh-huh.
and I'm not gonna disclose why. I don't want to distract from the. I'm not gonna distract from the conversation. But the whole reason I'm bringing that up is because um, there's a reason why I think he's that way. But one of the reasons why I think he's that way is because he's not like a leader. He's not someone that you'd want to go to for advice. He's someone
Hmm.
that he's a bitter older person, right? Um,
Okay.
and yet my family is saying, "Oh well, you're the one that's gonna make all decisions, da da da." When really, when yet though he doesn't schedule anything, he doesn't do setups, he doesn't do meetups for the family, he doesn't help with anything. You know what I'm saying? It's like, why are you gonna pay respect to him for out of just out of respect, you're gonna give him the title. Like for
Yeah.
me, my whole line of logic is like fuck that, right? Um,
You earn
it
respect.
yeah, you earn it. You know what I'm saying? If I came like if I came to all of y'all, like I understand I'm the older. I'm one of the older ones in the group, right? And
Hmm.
all that being said, the fact of the matter is, I'm a stranger to y'all. Like it doesn't matter you're whether we're both Filipino or even if we came from the same fucking neighborhood, right? Like just because I'm older than you doesn't mean I have a right to demand respect of anyone. Any one of any person, any of the other fellow content creators or any people in general. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like so that's something that always blew my mind. Like wait, what? like
Exactly.
like, yo, fuck that guy. Like, he didn't do shit for y'all. He didn't do shit
Hmm.
for me. I'm his son. Fuck
Yeah.
you mean? you know, um, so that's wild. That was just wild, yo. Um, but also in that sense though, it's like, oh, the man has to take charge, right? Like the man has to take charge and the man has to do this and that, right? We fit in that whole like male down that patriarchy minded uh mentality growing up. Like, oh, I was always told, John, Jay, you have to protect your sisters, right?
Yeah.
You have to protect your sisters. I'm the fucking baby of the family. I can't do shit. What am I gonna do? Like, when I was
Uh
a kid, my voice was higher than some of my siblings, some of my
huh.
sisters. You know what I'm saying? I was pipsqueak. Like I know I got a higher voice still, but damn. Like the fuck am I going to do? And it's like and it's many aggressions like that though. And here's the thing. There's many aggressions like that though that make me realize that when we talk about like sexism, racism, misogyny. When we talk about these broad concepts, it's not that there's a group of people. It's not just intentionally planned where there's a group of Filipino men that meet every third Thursday of the month after having tea with Duarte. Like, yo, how we gonna fuck over fellow Filipinos and remain corrupt as shit? You know what I'm saying? But all that
Yeah.
shit is like institutionalized, right? Like we've just had it ingrained in our heads to think like, oh, this shit. That's just how this shit works.
Exactly.
Like yo, that's just how it's been, dog, and it's always gonna be like that. So what's the fucking point of trying to change it? And it's like, nah, fuck that. Like that should not be the case. Like no, we actually can do better. We can actually like be different. Like you and I talking, that's us being different about it, right? Um,
Hmm.
so it's just, yeah, I'm glad that you're bringing it up, man. Yeah, it's so fucking wild, dog. It is so fucking wild. Oh, Kelly, enjoy dinner. Thank you for coming through. Appreciate you. And I'm sorry.
Sometimes, what can we do about it?
Yeah,
You
and
know, sometimes it's like, what can we do about it?
you
It's just
know,
how the world we live in.
and I think talking about it is,
I mean, that's the least we
yeah,
could do.
it's the least we can do. I think, I think, it, excuse me. Sorry. The fry got aggressive. Um,
Yeah.
but I think how can we normal? I think one of the biggest things is just normalizing, right? Like just
Hmm.
normalizing having conversations with people, right? Like, hey, what makes sense? What doesn't make sense, right? Because you're absolutely right. Like, look, we're not in the past anymore. We live in a new time. We live in a time where we should be able to have where people should be free to decide who they want to be, right? And I think one of the biggest issues when we're talking about traditionalism is what does traditional really entail, right?
Yeah, what does it really mean?
Yeah, because it's one thing, because I grew up I grew up with some outdated ideals passed down to me from my siblings, passed down to me from my friends, right? And all the sexist jokes, all the, you know, all the other basic shit, right? Like when people say, "Oh, it's boys being boys," it's like, it's like
Nah,
it's like,
I
yo,
hate that actually.
I hate that. Yeah, because here's the thing. I said that shit, but then once I learned it was wrong and why it was wrong, like I was able to correct that behavior. But here's the thing. If no one ever called me out on that behavior, if no one ever did, then I'd still be that piece of shit that does that. Now, I like to think I'm a better piece of shit. I'm just a piece of shit for different reasons, but not because of that, hopefully. Right? But I think the main thing is like people there was someone there were men in my life who thankfully were better men than the men I was raised with that were able to teach me to do better. There were women in
Hmm.
my life that were better women than the women I was raised with where who were able to teach me to be a better man, right? And ultimately it was better role models that were able to teach me to be better, right? And also me also hopefully like raising me to at least be humble enough to acknowledge like, look, I might be wrong. I may not have life figured out. Maybe I should listen to people, right? And realize like, okay, well, what's right or what's not right. And and it's okay to acknowledge. And I think one of the other biggest things is like it's okay to acknowledge if you're wrong, you know? Like no one's going to be
Yeah,
perfect, right? Like and it's okay. Like that doesn't mean that as long as the best part about apologizing is when you apologize and you're able to show that you mean it, like, people you actually gain people's respect. it's it's a crazy concept.
I actually tell um Mrs. Sonder all the time. Like if me and her have an argument, or not an argument, but like when we're trying to because like a lot of the times you learn communication in that relationship.
Mhm.
Like
Mhm.
there's no way a relationship like people don't argue. I mean they argue, but they like some people just it's just depends on the person's personality on how you two understand each other.
Mhm.
But I always tell her that um the best part, instead of like being mad, the best part about doing something is acknowledging it. Like just to me, if I could just see that she's acknowledged, like for like what she did wrong, if she was the one who did wrong, or if she catches herself before it even happens, like that certain bad thing, that to me that's all I really like want. Like sometimes that alone is just people just gotta know or learn how to deal with, if that makes sense. Like if you just acknowledge that there is something wrong and just like not just ignore it, that alone is already like you're already being a better person as it is.
That's awesome. Absolutely, I agree 100%, man. And thank you for bringing that up. I absolutely agree. It's like the saying goes, to err is human, to forgive is divine, right? Like,
Hmm.
and it's so important to show grace. I think to kind of bring it back, you were talking about how COVID changed things, right? And this just made me think, right? Think about COVID. It's one thing that I personally never learned about until COVID, or a lesson that I never really tried to apply to myself and relationships I had with other people, was practicing grace, right? Showing grace to others, and more importantly, showing grace to ourselves, right? Like if we mess up on something or if we mess with this. Like I've dealt with I want to say for the past 5 years ago. I was diagnosed with anxiety and major depression and severe depression. I went through a lot, and with that, and a big part of it, right? It was really hard for me to work on bettering myself and work on genuinely moving forward through that healing process because I never tried to catch myself instead of, or like it was how I framed it, right? Like instead of catching myself and being positive about it, it was just like, damn, yo, I fucked up again. Like, damn, like I'm such a screw up. Like I'm such a fuck up, you know? Like, and so, but, and because of that, by extension, I was indirectly treating people that same way. Like I wasn't giving people grace. Like if someone fucked up, I was calling them out. I'm like, yo, you fucked up. You're stupid, bro. Not like, oh, he may have had a bad day, or like I've seen him do better, so I know he could do better. It's like, no, once you fuck up, you fuck up. Like that's it, right?
Mhm.
So learning that was one of the most important lessons I think I've ever learned, and I'm so glad you brought that up because yeah, 100 million thousand billion %.
And
That's
also
a
the thing that I think people don't realize that people always put themselves in the shoes of that one person, so that's why they get disappointed. Like a lot of the times we get disappointed because we would put our like we would always tell ourselves what would we subconsciously we would say what would we do if we were in their shoes, and then when they
mm-hmm,
do exactly the opposite or something else other than what we think, that's when we get disappointed. And I think that's as humans, that's what people like kind of mistake or do wrong, because we need to realize that like everybody's their own different person, so you don't know how people are gonna act based on like
mm.
I don't know how to finish my thought, but like if that
No,
makes sense.
no, I love it. I think if you don't mind me taking a crack at it, it sounds like we're talking about practicing, actively practicing empathy, right?
Hmm.
And understanding, and just understanding the situation they're in. And I think one thing you also brought up, which I love that you brought up, is oh, just because that's always such a classic trap, right? Like, oh well, I was able to do it, so why couldn't they do it, right?
Exactly.
Like I was able to overcome what I overcame, so why can't you overcome? Like that's disappointing. Like you're not as good as you should be.
Hmm.
And I agree the problem with that, it's such a problematic mindset, right? Because uh well, there's a million reasons, but for me the main ones that stick out are, for one, it's you're not you're not being empathetic. You don't understand. If you truly understood the situation they were in, then you'd understand how hard the choices are that they're faced with, right? That they may be faced with. To take it an even greater point, right? Then you don't even have you don't even know the entire extent of their struggle and how previous traumas and previous struggles are informing their perception of the situation. And then finally, if you're not giving grace to them, right? You're not modeling a proactive or a beneficial behavior for them, and they're just going to be if they just feel like they're going to be scorned or mocked or cajoled for trying to be open about a situation, like then all of a sudden you're taking away that person's power to feel comfortable in the decisions they're making, right? Oh, and I think like that's really good. Those are really good points. Does that sound like
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
okay? I appreciate it. I talk a lot, man. I talk a lot. I'm sorry. So you've been thank you
I
for being
think.
patient.
Oh no. I think a lot of people just need to work on communicating, especially towards strangers or friends or people that aren't really your family or your significant other. I think that's one of the main problems with people is like we just need to learn to communicate with other people more. It's because if everybody just had a simple understanding of what everybody means, and if people, I mean, actually, not even that, if people actually just took the time to actually listen to people, like a lot of the problems in the world wouldn't be like problems. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I think I agree. I think if we practice communication and empathy, I think we'd be able to catch a lot of things before they even become problems, right? We're actually able to be proactive. Wouldn't that be a thought?
For real.
Oh my gosh. Like, oh man. Okay, so I need to take a bio break and go from there. And then I wanted to talk to chat for a bit and then come back. Would you mind if we took like a 10-minute break? It's
Yeah, you take the time you need.
yeah,
I
thank you.
am just gonna be playing games and chatting, so
I got so into yo, it's crazy. I got so into the convo cuz I just opened up your stream and I see you've been playing this whole time. So I salute your ability to multitask cuz I am fucking terrible at that. Like I had to stop playing. Like I moved around. Like if you look at the VOD, like okay, I was able to open up the game. All I did was go in and out of the hut that I made. Like maybe two or three times, and then the rest of the time I'm just like chilling and talking and vibing. Like my game actually timed out. It's like, oh, your connection is idle for too long. So I'm like, you know what, fuck it, I'm
no, it's
switching.
really hard.
Yeah.
It's hard to multitask.
I'm switching it back to just chatting, man. I'm vibing. More
Yeah.
power to you, bro. More power to you. All right, I'm going to go on. Did you want? Is it okay if we just do mute, or do you want me to just call you back when I'm ready?
I
What
don't
do you
mind
prefer?
whatever.
Okay, I'm just gonna mute the call then, and we'll be back. All right, good
Sounds
luck.
good.
Dope, dope, dope. Thank you. All right, so thank you all so much. Appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all. I just wanna. I've been trying to read the chat as we've been going through it. Once again, shout out to Saunders. Thank you, Saunders. Such an awesome person. Everyone that's been lurking, Young, I saw that you had to lurk. Thank you again for coming back, vibing. Appreciate you. Christine, Justine, Itelinen, thank you for lurking, for hanging out, for contributing to the conversation earlier. Same with Nessa with the lurk. Kelly, enjoy dinner, right? Frenchie, thank you for coming through for the convo and for making the points. Making the point about the chancla. Absolutely, absolutely. And yo, man, 24/7 snacks and gains. Whole family go end up diabetic in 2 weeks. And only time I aim, I pray for. Only time I pray is for Jr. Aim. But yo, Frenchie, shout out to you. Thanks again for the resub for 3 months, my man. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, Ella, also for the resub for 3 months. Thank you for the follows to Poison Fantasy, 666, The Real Boris 6000, Vanessa Valerie X3. Thank you, Nessa, for the follow, and once again, thank you to Nessa, Kelly, Wary, for uh, and also Christine for the conversation earlier, talking about the struggles we have with our jobs, with finding experience. There's so many good points in there that were made earlier. Um, I wish I had time to to highlight some of them while talking with Sonder. Um, However, our conversation started to shift while y'all were still talking about that, so I felt bad about like, oh, let's kind of shift it back. But nah, thank you for vibing. Thank you for hanging out. I appreciate y'all. Thank you so much. I'm going to take a quick bio break. Oh my God! Oh my! Oh my! We gotta keep the communication. Gotta keep it moving on. Hey, 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 hey. But thank you, Young. I appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. And look, I am so glad you had a great time with family. I read some of your tweets. I was able to catch up on some of your tweets over the weekend. Um, just with some of your revelations and sharing some of your experiences, and shit was powerful, my man. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I just didn't know, like, all I can do is just say thank you for sharing that and being open. And frankly, I feel so empowered to continue being open and share with you, because I see you reciprocate the behavior, and you're taking a step further now, and I think that's a fucking beautiful thing, Young. So shout outs to you, my man. Thank you, thank you, thank you, and thank you again to everyone. I'm going to take a brief. I'm gonna put some music on. I'm gonna take a brief bio break. I'm also going to try and set up. I'm gonna do a 3 minute ad break. During that ad break, I'm going to use the bathroom, and I'm gonna try and set up my other monitor, so that way I'm able to actually. It's gonna be easier to transition. And I gave up. I have a new mic, and I don't know how to make the shit work. So fuck it. Like, we're just gonna keep going with this mic, with what we've been doing. Um, yeah, of course, bro, I used to be private, but I feel like people can learn a thing or two from our own experiences. And I appreciate that perspective. I completely agree. I think, and again, like, it's something that Sandra and I was talking about. It comes down to how we're breaking up you, let's talk about, like, going from there, right? So that's a really good point. Um, I did, and I don't know why it stopped working. But what? I'll figure it out after stream. It's okay. Don't worry about it, Christine. I appreciate y'all. We are going to do like I said, quick 3 minute ad break. After that, I'm going to use Albano's. Where's my 3 minute ad break, yo? That gives me time to do the bathroom and do all that stuff. And much love. Thank you, everyone, and we'll be right back. All right, and we are back. Thank you all so much for your patience. I appreciate y'all. Let me turn the face cam back on. Oh, yeah, let's go. Sheesh! Thank you again for hanging out with me, friends. Once again, for those of you who are just joining us, I'm JJ, or the PT Gamer. Thank you for hanging out. It is Mental Health Mondays. That means that we just vibe, we chat, we hang out, we talk about what's real. Um, Topics switch up every Monday. There's really no set agenda for this. Today, though, I am chatting with Sonder. We've had some really good conversations talking about relationships, talking about our comparing contrasting our experiences growing up as both Filipinos in a new country, our the similarities and differences in our experiences, and I think also talking about a lot of the cultural similarities that resonate between Sandra and I. So again, shout outs to him. Thank you all for hanging out with us again. Unfortunately, I was not during the break. I did not receive the package I was supposed to receive, unfortunately. So that kind of sucks. So I'm still short a monitor. But I'm hoping that regardless that by Tuesday we'll be able to um go from there basically. So there's a missed package. Yeah, saying that both of these are here and the one click is not working. Yeah, so he was able to drop it off, he said. But what about the other one? So that's the thing I don't get. Yeah, I don't get a response either about, huh. That's so weird. Like I was able to get it's so weird. I don't know why they shipped this two separate packages, but I mean it is what it is. But anyway, we're gonna go jump back. High content with just lurking. Oh man, I just looked over. I have Saunders chat stream pulled up. Shout outs to Sonder. Let's see who else we can lurk on in the meantime. We can lurk on. Who else we got? Who else we got, friends? Young, are you? If you're still here, are you not streaming today, man? I know Raider's streaming. We gotta lurk on the homie. We gotta lurk on the homie. The homie Raider. Whoop whoop. Sheesh. Sheesh. But yeah, I'll take a look at the OBS and stuff later. But anyway, let's go jump back into this call. Oh, it hung me up. I got hung. I got hung up on y'all. I was inactive for more than 5 minutes. That's funny. That is so funny, bro. It's like, yo, you doing too much. He's doing too much. Ah, that is awesome. But yeah, all right, friends, let's go call him back. But shout outs again. Oh, you know what? He might be talking with. So we'll go from there. But anyway, friends, while we're waiting on that, let's go play some music. Let's go vibe. Man, what a day it has been. What a day it has been, friends. So, I've tried switching the mic source on OBS, going from there, but I think I'd like to scroll back and we've been chatting about some different things. I think one of the most powerful takeaways I would say from the conversation that we've had has been being open about communicating, about empowering and advocating for ourselves, right? To normalize against the stigmas of the past, right? History is important, culture is important, tradition doesn't necessarily mean culture though, right? Just because something is tradition doesn't mean it's necessarily right. I think culture is how's that different? I think, there's we have to embrace what made us in the past, but that doesn't mean we're beholden to it, right? I think we have to ensure that we continue to show, we talked about it, right? Like we have to show grace to ourselves as individuals and to ourselves as a collective. And I think a big part of that is, all right, I think that means we can move forward. Uh, we can acknowledge the mistakes of the past and move forward from that. So, uh, yeah, so I just DM'd. Okay, can you come to my waiting room? Yeah, sure. You got it. We're gonna go into Saunders. We're gonna go into the university. The university. And where am I going? Waiting room? Oh yeah, waiting room. And yo, oh he's
yeah.
back. Yo, what's up, my man? How you doing?
Good, good. Talking to Christine about her relationship stuff.
Aw, nice. Is she talking with you on a call or in chat?
Oh, she's in my chat. I just asked her
Oh,
like, what's
nice.
the thing for her? What's the best thing about her relation? The hardest thing, and the best thing.
Aw, nice. Did she answer both questions already? Let me.
Yeah, she.
Okay, I may or may not be lurking on your stream to read the responses.
Yeah, she said the best thing for her is, or the hardest thing for her is communication, and then the best part is the comfort.
Aw.
No, yeah, I kind of agreed too. Like no matter what, like I feel like I feel like like with Mrs. Sonder, no matter what I do, she would understand first before judging, and that no matter what, she'll just like be there and love no matter what. And I think I wish that for
Mm,
people to find that in their own lives as well, because it's a great feeling, I
mm,
must say.
definitely, definitely. Man, and I'm jealous. Like, I'm jealous in the best possible sense of the word. I think, I think that's great that you and Mrs. Saunders found that, and that it sounds like Christine and her boyfriend found that as well. And I think that communication and being able to share, being willing to be open and vulnerable, right, is such an important part of building intimacy. Not just intimacy in a relationship, right? Based on romance,
Mhm.
but any relationship, right? Uh, Between siblings, between friends. Um, I think building openness is such a brave thing to do that it's really hard to pull off, though, right? So I salute that. I salute that. And
Hey,
much
let's be
props.
vulnerable. Let's be vulnerable right here. What are you single by choice or?
Mm, and is that question directed at me
For
or
you.
just in general?
Yeah, for you.
I'll say it's a mixture of both. I'd say the answer has changed over the years. My
The
last
answer changed over the
relationship,
years. Okay.
in terms of the percentages,
When was your last relationship?
my last relationship, I would say 9 years ago. I've been single for
Ooh.
9 years. Yeah, I've been single for 9 years,
Have you
and
tried, or like, are you just not?
I've dated. I've dated.
Hmm.
And I don't want to like throw out people's business, but I've been talking and I've been on like dating apps, and I think for me the biggest thing has been both my insecurities and fears around a relationship. My last relationship, it ended. It was very fast. It escalated way too quickly, and it ended, you know, with me being cheated on, basically. So that's how my last relationship ended, and it really it wasn't just the cheating. It was just how she went about the cheating.
Wait. She cheated?
Yeah, she cheated on me.
Oh, you.
So
I was like, wait. Imagine.
she had been cheating on me for a while actually.
Oh wow.
So here's the story. Here's the sauce, right?
Yeah.
So
Let me hear the tea.
here's the tea, bro. Here's the tea. So I can laugh about this now, but it really fucked with me so much, man. Um,
9 years ago, right?
9 years ago, yeah.
Okay.
So this happened when I was in Georgia. I knew this girl. We worked together, right?
Uh-huh.
And I think, and you know, she wasn't. She didn't directly report to me, but I was a supervisor. I was like one of the management level people, and she was like more of an entry level rep. So we kept our business on the down low. Um, well,
Oh,
anyway,
like you guys were seeing each other.
yeah, we were seeing each other, right?
Okay.
And so although it wasn't like it was frowned upon, right? Although there wasn't a direct conflict of interest, like it was just easier to just keep it on the down low. Anyway, she'd always uh, she'd always ask me like, hey, uh, like once a week, she'd always ask me different times like, hey, uh, could you could you get me at it? Could you try and help me leave early? Um, for whatever reason, yada yada. I'd be like, yeah, sure thing, I got you. And so that was always something she always did.
Okay.
And, and then it come to find out for the last 3 months I'd been doing it. So half the time we were together, um, in that time I was very lonely. I was very vulnerable. I placed way too much on her to because I felt alone. I was homesick. I didn't When I moved to Georgia, I didn't know anyone. Like I rolled out there by myself.
Oh, so it's like fresh.
Yeah, so the person that I was physically closest with was my fucking boss. You know what I'm saying?
Oh.
Like that's how real it was. And I'm an introverted person in that like I'm very friendly to people I meet, but I'd rather be by myself. But that being said, it's tough to be alone all the time, right?
I agree.
Yeah, so I ended up welcome back Raider by the way. And so with that, her homegirl who we're mutual friends with, she didn't know we were dating though. She told me like one day, she told me like, "Yo, Jay, you gotta stop letting so and so go home early." And I was like, "Why?" And she's like, "Yo, because you know how she's been like she told me she got a man, but she she told me that every time she goes home, like she got her side dude like waiting for her at the crib. And I was just like, wait, what?
Wait, who's the side? Who's the side dude? You were the side
So
dude, or
no, that's the thing. I'm the boyfriend, but she has
oh,
another
okay.
guy. I'm boyfriend like
Uh,
apparently I'm not even the main boyfriend. I'm like boyfriend number 2. And she's seeing side dude number 2. Like I'm not the only
what
motherfucker
the
she's with.
hell?
It's some crazy fucking shit. Like it fucked with me so hard. Cause like
Okay.
I asked her to move in with me. Like I got her a nice ass necklace to celebrate our 6-month anniversary,
Uh-huh.
whatever the fuck. Like I was sprung. And here's the fucked up thing about it, right? Like I saw so many signs. There's so many signs, right?
Like red flags.
There's so many red flags.
Okay.
So many red flags. Like
Like, give me one of them.
so she always loved to talk about how faithful she was. Like
Oh, yeah. What the fuck?
and she
It's like
always
she's
loved
hiding something.
exactly. And here's the thing, right? And this is the shit that when I think about it now, I'm like, yo, I was so fucking blind, dog. Like,
Yeah.
yo, I was blind as fuck.
Well, I think it's because you were in like a vulnerable state. weren't you?
Exactly. Exactly. But you know what? Like, at the same time, it's like, what led me to that, right? And I think a
Mhm.
big part of it was a big part of my growth after that is how am I moving on from this, right?
Mhm.
How, first off, the very first thing was first getting over the anger. And, cause I went through the phase of like, yo, women are bitches, fuck these hoes, da 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 da, I ain't fucking with this shit, da da. And, so I hoed around and, did things I was not proud of.
Mhm.
And I learned like, yo, I gotta like, the reason why I participate in like these self-destructive behaviors and why I'm angry and why all these extra things XYZ and the third is because I don't really like myself as a person and I'm not very happy
At the
with
time.
myself as a person. Right? Yeah, exactly. Like I'm not happy with myself. And more
Okay.
importantly, I'm not comfortable with myself. You know what I'm saying? And
Okay.
that like I don't know who I am yet as a man. I don't really know like my interests like or like how my interests are evolving or like
Which is perfectly okay.
yeah, which is perfectly okay, but and so like I really sympathize like so that's the experience like I can empathize with for someone and not like someone coming out, but like someone like just trying to understand their place in the world. You know what I'm saying? Like I
Yeah.
was I was directionless, right?
Yeah.
Because before I'd always been able to lean on faith, and I'd always been able to lean on these ideas of family and such. However, that wasn't the case for me, right? I found that I wasn't able to rely on that when I'm not physically close on them, right? And it was hard to keep in touch for a number of reasons. And it made me realize a lot of truths that I wasn't comfortable to that I wasn't ready to face. Um, and so that began my process, right? But throughout this whole time, I'd been dealing with these emotions. I'd been dealing with struggling with these insecurities, and it wasn't until I want to say 4 years after that breakup, right, where my favorite aunt and my favorite uncle, two people who I had looked up to as as mother and father figures more so than my actual parents, right? Um, like I actually connected with them more emotionally than I did with my own parents for a variety of reasons, which I'm not gonna get into. But but it that's what led me. That was the next step in like unpacking and acknowledging my past trauma, like that exacerbated a lot of the traumas I had dealt with in the past, and dealing with my childhood issues and how that and it took me a while to realize like it's all intersectional, right? Where my mental health was and physical health, and it's one thing like it was always okay because at least like when I was working out and such, um, I still dealt with it. Don't get me wrong, but at least I had like an outlet. But when
Oh my god, I feel that.
yeah, like it's like such a big deal. It's not the end all be all, but it definitely helps you to helps with the process.
Yeah.
At that time though, like um I started dealing with a lot of health problems. That was the start of my health problems. And I wasn't able to work out as much, so it was so much easier to get depressed and get fat because I was like, "Oh, I can't work out, da 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 da." And even when I did have good workouts, oh, Young says, bro, I wish working out did that for my anger because it doesn't for me. It's crazy because
I think it's different for every person.
yeah, but it is different for every person. I relate to that though because like the anger I felt over the whole being cheated on and feeling like uh like she took a part of my masculinity by playing me for a fool, like thinking shit like
Mhm.
that. Um, it's natural. Now it's one thing to be hurt, right? Which, like, I think is okay to feel that way, right? I feel it's okay. Like, I was okay with acknowledging I was hurt, but I didn't channel it in a productive way or a safe way or a healthy way, right? Like I said, at the time for 4 years, I was on this whole like women, bitches ain't shit but hoes and tricks. Like I was really about that fucking life. Like I just
Yeah.
hated, and and it took me a really long time. It took me a while to acknowledge like that's a really toxic, that's a really unhealthy perspective to
Did
have. That
you wait?
yeah,
I have a question. Did you
yeah.
hate women?
I hated the idea of trusting women. I hated the idea of placing value in a woman that was not kin to me.
Okay.
Like, I hated I hated the idea of putting myself in a vulnerable position with a woman again in terms of opening up emotionally.
Do you think it was it anger or because it's scared?
Oh, it was definitely fear, and it was definitely insecurity. It was definitely um it was a plethora of things, right? But it was mostly, if I had to boil it down to two things, it was mostly the reason why it hurt so much was because it was subliminally, right? I saw it as a reinforcement that I wasn't worthy of love. I wasn't worthy of good things. I didn't deserve good things in my life because I wasn't a good person. And I wasn't a good person because in my childhood I wasn't a good kid, and because I got scolded and because I didn't do things the way I thought I was supposed to do it. Like I'm constantly, because I didn't receive praise, that means I didn't do good. So I'm not good. So I don't deserve these good
Mm-hmm.
things. You know what I'm saying? Like that was the basic breakdown. But
Yeah.
it took me it took me 4 years of languishing, and then it took me 5 years of therapy and a suicide attempt to realize like, yo, like I'm
Are you
fucked in the
wait?
head.
I
Like I
I
need
didn't know
to
that
wait.
part.
Oh,
Are
I'm
you
so
open
sorry.
about that?
Yeah, I am open about it. Um it's part of the reason why how I ended up moving out of New York. It's I was in a very dark place in my life, and you know, I'm I'm open about it because I don't like to talk about it, but I'm willing to talk about it because I think it's important to share um that it's
Somebody might be going through the same thing.
it's necessary, yeah, because I like to share like people when people talk about like, oh, Jay brings vibes and such, like I'm so happy like people see me that way, right? But
Hmm.
it's so easy. Like for me, it's very easy to be that way because it's so much easier at times to act happy than to acknowledge than to be discomfortable than to acknowledge the discomfort I have with not being happy with myself, right?
Okay, yeah, yeah.
So but I'm able to work through that now.
Like it's easier to pretend than to like actually face
Yeah, but
what it is that's in front of you.
exactly. Before it was. But like
Hmm.
now, like I find that I still do that, but I like to think now I've grown thanks to therapy, thanks to building a support system, thanks to I take medication. I take an SSRI, which is a long-term drug which helps promote the boost the development of serotonin, right? Because really, that's what depression is, right? And here's why I talk about all this. Is not to toot my own horn, because there are people in life, um, and I'm sorry, Sandra. I'm gonna get off my soapbox in just a second. I'm gonna answer your question. I've taken such a long about way of
No,
answering
you're
it,
good.
but I appreciate you. But here's the thing. With men, with culturally men, right, or specific with being Asian, with being a minority in America, right? We don't talk about mental health. We don't talk about traumas. We don't talk about dealing when you hear people talk about being disciplined as kids, right? It's almost like we wear our abuse as a badge of honor rather than what it is, a fucking scar, right?
Hmm.
That it's not even a scar, it's a scab that we keep fucking picking at it because we're trying to convince
Facts.
ourselves that, oh, even if it bleeds, it's not that bad because it'll scab up again and I can pick at it again, right? But
Hmm.
there's a reason why it's still bleeding because it's still an open wound, right? You're not letting it, and subconsciously, because we're not addressing it, like we're always gonna be bumping into shit that's gonna make it that'll open up the wound again, and maybe it gets worse, maybe it gets infected, right? Like that's just to draw that metaphor. Mental health is the same thing as a mental illness is an illness, right? It needs to be treated. It needs to be diagnosed. It needs to be treated, and it needs to be taken seriously, right? And it needs to, and so like that's why I always bring it up because it's that's
Important.
why like yeah I'm always happy to, well, not happy, but I'm always willing to share my own personal story because of that. And to answer your question about, am I angered or is it fear? Like I would say my childhood traumas. The short of it is I have dealt with traumas from my childhood which have informed my perceptions of not just myself but how I view the world. And now as an adult, thankfully, I'm in a position now where I can acknowledge the the problematic nature of those perceptions and work on fixing them. That being said, it is a long road. Um, Although I'm proud of the growth I've made, there's a lot more road to go. And one thing I'm, one thing I, and it's like it's stuff you can recognize rationally and logically, but it doesn't stop how the feel how you're feeling though, right? Like I can acknowledge like, okay, well, committing suicide is a really stupid fucking idea, right? But and I think like that's the scariest part. Like all, no matter how logically you can decide, like yeah, I know this is a bad idea. Like there's still a voice inside of you that goes, you're still better off if you went this route instead of the other route. And that's a really frightening fucking thing. So yeah, thank you for listening. I hope that answered the question and then some.
I
Um,
know, like I appreciate, like I always appreciate when people get vulnerable because I feel like a lot of the times that is the message like that I do try to come across as that I feel like people need to not be afraid to be vulnerable.
mhm. I appreciate it, man. Thank you, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to share my perspective with you and with everyone. And I think it's really important to acknowledge to acknowledge uh, to acknowledge that and to hold space for that. So Saunders, man, I appreciate that we're able to have a frank conversation about it. Really, um, just to be able to, I think again, it comes down to how are we how are we breaking the stigma of it, right? And that only comes from trying to show that hey, it is okay to talk about these things and to show that life is not picture perfect. I talked about my dad earlier, and I felt that way for a very long time. But and I'm still ashamed. And with that being said, right, I still feel ashamed of how I feel about my father because I know I shouldn't feel like there's a voice in me that says it's not natural to not feel that way, right? But here's
You
the
feel
thing.
ashamed that you feel that way about him?
Yeah, because here's the thing, right? I have um for the full sake of disclosure, um I don't talk to my parents. I don't I'm not ready to share the reason why. There are reasons. So I like to provide disclosure because there are boundaries that I don't um that when I talk about myself, um I do so with the understanding that like look, just because I've set boundaries for myself doesn't mean that my boundaries are going to look the same as yours. So,
Hmm.
one thing I always tell people is like, look, and we're also dealing with different situations, right? It doesn't mean that my situation is more or less,
Oh yeah, definitely.
right? But like I think like it's important to maintain perspective, right? And go from there. But again, like my relationship with them is tenuous and complicated, and one thing you said earlier, Sonder, that like really resonated with me when you're talking about relationships was relationships like we see in the movies, right? And what do we see in the
Hmm.
movies?
Facts.
Like people have loving parents or people have loving siblings, and you know, um, my family's dysfunctional as fuck. Like I love my family. I love most of my family. Um, I love most of my family, and I think like, and all that being said, you know, it's my what is it? What am I trying to say? With all that being said, relationships need to be built from both sides of the bridge, right? Relationships need to be maintained from both sides of the bridge. Relationships are exactly that, are bridges, right? That need to be
Hmm.
maintained, that need to be built, that need to be repaired, that needs, and at times when they're burned, sometimes it can be rebuilt, and other times it's best to let it rot because what that bridge
Would
connects you to.
you, sorry, would you call
No, no.
your relationship with your dad like a burned bridge?
Um, I would say for now, with
Also, there is a chance of possibility, but it's kind of dependent on whatever it is.
I'm gonna. What I will say is this: my relationship with my parents is based on my 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 decision. My decision to cut off communication with them was a reaction to not just to a decision, they made, which made it clear to me that they prioritized one part of the family versus the
Oh, I
goodness
get it.
of
I
the
get it.
entire family. That's what.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
all I will say. I'll believe it at that.
Uh-huh.
And I was put in a position where I felt like if
It's like an ultimatum.
yeah, it's an ultimatum, and if you're gonna make me feel like I have to choose sides, then I'm gonna choose a side, and it's not gonna be yours
Uh-huh.
because I value, like, I'm not gonna compromise myself, my mental health, and for your sake of like preserving this image of a happy family. Cause growing up, I would have traded all the half smiles to not have lived the life I lived. And you know what, like, and that's all. That's what I'll say. Um, I'm perfectly fine with sharing about my trauma in personally. I don't share it though because my story involves many other people who I have not asked for consent to
Oh
share,
yeah, yeah.
and for the sake of clarity, I think it's just better to just leave it as is. Um,
Yeah.
but it's, that issue is my issue alone. I don't want to project my issues onto other people or anything, but I just want to say, like, it's a personal decision I've made. It's not one that was easy to make. It's a decision that I regret making, but I also know it's the right one. That's what I feel. But it's still tough, right? It's still it's a push and pull, right? Because I
I mean,
don't feel like an actual Filipino, because I feel like I'm forsaking that ideal of family, right? Like you grow up with that, like, oh, respect your elders, respect family, like that's the ultimate thing, right? Um, but
blood
yeah,
doesn't always mean family.
yeah, exactly. Oh, Christine said that in the chat too, and thank you,
She
Chris.
did.
Yeah, oh, Christine's a real G, yo. I appreciate it. And you know what? Like, it's I've been able to have these conversations and be open again though, because I just want to point out, like, I went to therapy for 5 years, right? Again, I take an SSRI, which helps with maintaining my mood, which helps me with providing clarity for my thoughts, right? Because again, I finally started treating my mental illness for what it was, which was an illness, not something to be ashamed of, but something that I needed to handle, right? And I hope by sharing that, whoever's listening, that you know that you can always reach out to other people, and that going for help is be not a sign of weakness, but admitting the greatest sign of independence is not always standing alone, but always knowing when you can ask for help. That's what I say. Um, and yeah, I'll just leave it at that. But yeah, no, great question. Thanks, Sandra. I appreciate it, bro. Whew,
Sure.
that was heavy. Whew, man, that was a lot.
I mean, sometimes, like, I feel like sometimes people avoid certain stuff like that, and I feel like you've. I mean, maybe I'm not trying to pry, but I feel
That's
like
fine. No worries.
you've kind of like kept it there, and sometimes just talking about it from time to time what does help.
Mhm. Mhm.
You
I
always got the
appreciate.
homies.
Hmm. Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate it. And no, I appreciate it. Like, look, I remember when we talked about this last week. Just talking about being open, and we didn't know what we were gonna talk about, but I think it was like really good to be able to have, I think, some conversation about it and be able to build and go from there. Um, Hi Ren. Minecraft did not go. I'm here talking with Saunders. I got too wrapped up in the conversation, so I just closed the game and I switched it back to just chatting. Uh, that's how Minecraft went. But no. But everyone who's just joining in, thank you again. Thank you, Sonder. Sonder, I need to shout you out, my man. This is a great conversation. Great conversation. We're just having
I live for this.
great convo on mental health. It's Mental Health Monday, Ren. So for you and for everyone else, every Monday is typically just a just chatting stream where we just we just vibe. And again, I'm joined by Sonder GA. Sonder is awesome. I just get overwhelmed by how many good things I want to say about you. I just don't know what to say first. Um, man, but no, it's just fantastic. Thank you again for approaching me and having this conversation. Would you? Oh, Sonder, I want to open this question to you because Ren is asking me. Would you consider? Would you consider a just chatting mental health chat with a different guest each week? Hmm. I am down for that, but you know,
Sounds like a conversation we've had before.
yeah, but you know, Sonder, you and I were actually talking about this a bit last week, and I was wondering, we let's talk about this more off stream, but um, is that something you ever considered? Doing like a co-stream or running your own stream with running a stream like where we do talk about mental health and with the different guests, we could like even have a different subject, right? Or a different perspective. At the worst case, a different perspective on a subject we've covered before.
I mean, I always am down to hear other people's stories. So it's a yes for me.
Awesome, awesome. All right, let's connect more off stream. But we are at I'm at the 2:55 mark. I have to get off soon, so I'm gonna end my stream in a couple of minutes here. But yo, Sonder, you the real G, man. Thanks again so much for chatting. Uh, and it was just a really powerful conversation I felt we had, and uh, thank you for sharing your experiences with me and allowing me space to share with you as well. Um,
Hmm.
and it was very. I'm glad people, and when I was looking through your chat and I was looking through mine, it looked like people were able to resonate and take some things from it, and I think that was awesome. So thank you so much. While we're co-streaming together, I guess, was there any final thoughts or anything you had before we disconnect on stream anyway?
I think I think for people who are listening, do not be afraid to speak your mind. A lot of the times you never really know. There are a lot more people that understand you more than you think. So even if they don't understand you, but they could have a different perspective about it, you could always talk to anybody, talk to me or Jay or anybody. Like we have this huge group of people that we always play with, and I am pretty sure they are down to talk as much as we are. We will never say no to a conversation.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. Um, I just want to point out that when it comes to mental health, it's always please, 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 always feel free to reach out to anyone. Um, Sonder is great. You can always reach out to anyone within the communities, within our respective communities, and there's so much overlap, frankly, that I wouldn't be shocked if someone that you find is a great support or someone that could use support could be a great support to someone else too, right? It's all about building each other up. So, also, we always have our mental health hotlines based on where you are, whether in the States or Canada. You can find those in the respective discords and then also Googling it online. But with that being said, thanks again, Sonder. I'm going to end the call here, buddy. Thanks again, brother. Appreciate you. Have a great rest of your stream. Have a great rest of your night. And we'll talk soon, okay?
Talk soon.
All right,
Have a
brother.
good day, everybody.
Thank you, thank you. And to Saunders Chat, deuces. Thank you for having me. Appreciate y'all. Much love, much love. Later, later. Oh man, what an awesome convo. What a good day. Yeah. Thank you all. Thank you all. Oh, Biscuit, I saw your comments. And Young, I saw you. I just wanna, before I leave, I just wanna acknowledge what we were saying. Oh wait, this was your first Mental Health Monday, Biscuit? Yo, that's crazy. Thank you. Yo, you picked a good one. You picked a good one. Like, yeah, Mental Health Monday. Normally we just vibe. It's a just chatting stream. What we'll do is we just do check-ins, and then based on how the conversation goes, we'll kind of end up gravitating towards the subject, and just kind of sharing perspectives on it. And I think one of the biggest things is just holding space for people to share their perspectives. And normally for me, uh normally that's the first time I ever did like a co-stream talking with another person, and kind of like an interview but not really. But I think it was honestly it was a really nice experience, and being able to share with Sonder and share perspectives and go from there, I think was really awesome. So next Monday, we'll see. We'll have more updates, but I'm glad that you enjoyed it. Young dropping truth bombs in the chat. I can tell you this, I was not ashamed, nor am I, even after the conversation I had with my dad this weekend, the way I felt about him all these years. You shouldn't either. Whatever it is, your relationship with your dad, whatever he did, I'm sure what you feel and why you are the way you are is valid. Y'all awesome, man. Thank you, thank you, thank you for those words of empowerment. Thank you for the encouragement. And thank you for the empathy. And thank you for sharing the love, man. Um, thank you, thank you, thank you. Ren, I think it's a great format. Thank you. I agree. I like it. And I'm gonna chat with. It's crazy because Sandra and I talked about this. A little bit of backstory. Sandra and I were. Sandra reached out to me on Friday because Sandra was like, "Look, I want to talk about." Sandra was like, "Look, my mission is I want to be able to raise awareness. I want to be an advocate. I want to be able to provide support to people." Um, and I thought that was such an empowering thing to hear. Um, as someone, I've worked for years as an advocate for people, and but it wasn't until I needed to ask for help myself that I realized just how truly empowering and how necessary that role is. Until I was in the position where I needed help, right? And so, Sonder, you're in here. You're the best, man. But anyway, friends. But no, again, thank you, Sonder, for joining me. Thank you so much. Chat tomorrow. I hope to have an update with how the stream is going. I'll be sharing on Instagram, going from there. If you want more updates, what's going on, please feel free to join the Discord. Also, shout out to Sonder again. Feel free to check him out. Not only is he a mental health advocate and a beautiful man, both inside and out, but also he is a cracked Valorant gamer and keyboard building enthusiast, where he's pretty good at it, honestly, at everything. So please check him out. Much love. Christine, Young, Biscuit, thank you for coming through. Ren, Raider for the lurk. Once again, thank you to Frenchie and Ella for the resubs for 3 months, clocking in with us. Thank you for the follows, to Poison, to Boris, to Vanessa, Valerie. Vanessa, I'm saying your whole name like I don't know you, girl. I'm bugging. But yo, one thing I want to say on stream, y'all let Vanessa know. I want to give a quick shout out to Vanessa before we go, because Vanessa is actually my 151st follower. So thank you, Nessa. Thank you, everyone. 151 follows. My God. In just over 2 months, man. Just over 2 months. It's crazy. We started streaming April 4th. It's now June 14th. So that's over 60 days. Closer to like what? 80 days? 70 days? 72 days, 71 days, right? And we're at 150, and um, the growth of this channel is because of everyone gathering together, responding to the mission, responding to the space, and I'm so grateful and and humbled by this. So thank you all so much for joining me. I appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Um, so next stream will be at 6 p.m. 6 p.m. Central Standard Time to 9 p.m. We're gonna do something hopefully a little more lighthearted, but again, um, we go where the wave takes us, baby. So let's find someone to rate. Thank you, Christine. Oh, thank you. I'm so proud of you. Good luck with your startup. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you, Raider. Yo, Raider, appreciate the lurk. Thank you for showing love as always, my man. Yo, it's always super kind of you. Whenever you just vibe and hang out with us, man. It's always appreciated. Yes. Let's go raid someone, friends. Let's go raid someone, okay? We're gonna end the stream on a raid. Alright, let's go end the stream on a raid. Because if we're all hanging out, let's find someone to raid, yo. Let's just have a good one. Let's go raid Gilly, because Gilly's the man. Hella vibes, my man. Yo, always, always. So Gilly's all about vibes. This man is so chill. So we're just gonna raid him and just say hello. So yo, Gilly also did. I showed the art before. Super awesome person. I love this guy. But as we get ready for raid once again, thank you all so much for joining me. As we close, remember, be kind, be well, be good to others, and most importantly, to yourself. Much love, friends. Let's go raid.